Alright, first off, Chad. And now, secondly, who wants to do the recap? You know what's funny? Those we're doing these recaps, and for us it's been 2 weeks. There's probably people listening to us back to back who are going to notice all the little inconsistencies, like slight differences in NPC descriptions and such, because for them, the last session, which was 2 weeks ago for us, was like 2 seconds ago for them.
Well, firstly, I recall in reverse order that Lee and I both in the middle of that hallway both got our bells rung by dead man's guns, and we're both pretty severely injured from injuries that we took to the head.
I'm fine.
No. Let's see, and then rewind. So we're going toward the stairwell. There was the guy whose name we don't know, who has the submachine gun that was on his knee down the stairwell, or in front of the stairwell, who had taken out the second shooter, if I'm not mistaken. The first shooter who had been taken out was actually taken out by Modamar, who tackled him. Or no, wait, hold on a second.
No,
that was Guy. You're right. Let me back up. That was the guy who was walking us down the hall with the trench coat and the sidearm, right? That guy went down because I remember Joe thought about shooting him, and then Modamar just took him out, practically severed his leg with his knife, because Philip and Emily actually killed the other guy who was running away. That's right.
She cut a bitch.
She did. And I'm going to make a mistake on the house. So, let's see. Yeah. So, as we were coming down the river, we had left... what was that? Was that Washington we had left?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had left Washington. We're coming down the river, and we were heading toward Defiance, and we were having the discussion if we were just going to blow past Defiance or stop there. And I remember, because Lee and I were having a discussion on the ship, and I was in a very serious fashion joking about pushing him in the water, when Casey grabbed me and turned me around to see this very combat-effective boat flying the colors of House Color. And we went ahead and we docked there at Defiance, got off the ship, and then the guy got off the boat, and the guy whose name I do not recall, the tubby, kind of soft, clerical cat.
Oh, right. What was that dude's name?
Yeah, approaches...
Cyrus Weiss.
Thank you. Cyrus Weiss. There it is on my notes. So Cyrus Weiss approaches us and basically rattles off all of our names and says that, that this woman, that the Duchess, actually head of House Color, happens to be
and
here.
World's Greatest Spy.
It happens to be, and World's Greatest Spy, apparently, happens to be in Defiance and wants to meet with us. So we were being taken to that meeting when we were ambushed, so to speak. But there was a lot that happened before that in Washington, particularly with Philip and Lee's characters. Because I know Modamar went to the Ladies of the Evening.
To get some rhubarb pie.
Get some rhubarb pie.
And it was very economical.
Yeah.
Yes.
You could hear the joyous cries of Mowgli. Oh, these pipes are clean.
I saw that movie in theaters.
I don't want to get on the tangent. I love Chris Elliott. I have his TV series Get a Life on DVD at home.
Mm-hmm.
I love that stuff.
I used to love that show.
Yeah.
So there is a general that we were on our way to sell our wine to.
Yes.
But we got sidetracked.
Yeah, Temper's Militia.
Yep.
Yeah,
the Temperance Militia.
Yeah, not the Temperance Militia. Yeah, not Carrie Nation and her hatchet.
Chad, give me a 2d6 roll.
Oh, with my own dice. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Your loud ass dice.
Mm-hmm. They're big. They're big. They're red. They're pointy. They kind of hurt. Here, pick these up. They kind of hurt when you pick them up.
Yeah, those are.
They've been around a while too.
Mm-hmm.
Do our bullets reset or?
Nope, since they're on a fixed economy, because the ones you spend I can use back against you. Isn't that right, Gizmo?
Inches?
Yes.
Out of context.
Oh, it's in context. So, like...
No. Like...
Okay. So, like...
Yes.
Now out of character, I get it.
Yeah, it's actually, that's probably not. It's probably like, by.
Okay.
All right. So it's maybe even that's a little high. To explain to the people listening what we're talking about, Chad and I are note passing. Chad was asking for clarification on a secret note. So, no, you won't get any explanation on.
Because, fuck you.
Yeah. But Chad was asking
Technical question.
technical questions that I was answering. So, well,
No fun if he doesn't look.
I like that.
okay.
That's some tongue control.
I hope the people can hear my boner.
Did you guys kill Timid? That's the only part I can't
Wasn't
remember.
Timid-
Timid. Timid is the guy.
Because
Yes,
Yes.
he didn't mean to kill him. He just wanted to knock him out. So he
Oh, that's
took his
right, I
head
smashed-
and
I
bashed
smashed
it
his head
against
up
the
against
side
the
of the wall.
yeah, that's right.
Right.
You gave him a.
Because I contemplated shooting him, but I was scared and stalled, and then
Then he gave him a
Motomar-
TBI.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay. So as of right now, you guys are in this really sort of. It's not fully dark. It's this very dim tunnel that runs underneath one of the foothills. There are occasional places where it breaks through to the ground above. This has to be it's either something pre-war or it's just not been well maintained. One of the two. But there are places where you can see through the stonework. There's a little bit of light filtering through. And so it's dim, and in places it is completely dark, but it's not like it's just pitch black front to back. So you've got 3 dead people.
I don't remember. The guy that ran out from the room, did he have a flashlight?
I don't.
Uzi.
I don't remember. I remember he had a submachine gun. I don't remember if he had a flashlight.
Okay.
He lit a candle.
Yes, that he did do. He lit a candle back
Okay.
by the door.
So there's at least light by the door, but no. Okay.
Okay, so as you guys are so you guys are standing there. 2 of you are bleeding, and your faces are burning, and there might be all kinds of crap lodged in your skin and muscle tissue. It's not a pretty sight. Not that you can really see it, for lack of a mirror, if nothing else. But the rest of you, so Motomar, Emily, and Phil are fine. There are 3 dead people in front of you, and there's below you, and there's one guy who is now in front of you with a Uzi type submachine gun, and
I managed to calm Lee down so he quit yelling.
Yeah.
and
He's a bitch.
he motions for you guys to follow him.
And we're all together now?
Yes.
Okay.
He motions for you guys to follow him, and then walks back toward where that candle and the stairs are.
I am reaching out my hand. I don't know who, but I put my hand on someone's shoulder, and Lee is just kind of like letting them lead him.
Probably me, because I was back by you.
I was
Yeah.
about to nominate you anyway. So, okay, you've grabbed Phil.
All right.
Right? I'll help lead you so you don't walk into a wall.
Yeah.
All right. He leads you guys upstairs, or leads you to the end of the hallway. And upon reaching the end of the hallway, he extinguishes the candle and goes up the stairs. And upon going up the stairs, you guys come back out into the light, and you are in an outdoor garden, fairly similar to the one you entered in through. But
Does he leave the candle there?
no, he did grab it and take it with him. So, yeah, he leads you out into a garden. This one, unlike the one you entered in through, though, is actually maintained. Now, it's fall, so there's not a whole lot in bloom right now, but you can tell just by looking at how well arranged the stems are and things like that, that this one is actually being maintained by someone. And it sits in front of a 2-story brick house that has most of its blinds drawn. The windows are generally there. It is boarded up in a place or two, but most of the windows are there. The porch, it has white pillars that look to be recently painted, or, in pretty good shape. And he walks toward that house, occasionally glancing over shoulders to see if you guys are following or not.
So when we come out into the light, after the eyes adjust, I'm going to be looking around everywhere just to see if anybody's hiding in the bushes with guns aimed at us. Or
You said this was a garden. What kind of plants?
Not food, if that's
Yeah.
your question.
Yeah. Lee comes out, bright lights and headache, and then he stops, like not stops you, but he isn't moving, and he goes over to one of the plants,
Okay.
seemingly oblivious to the situation.
Chad, when you go over to the plant, I can of course describe for you what the plant is, unless there's something in particular you want to know.
Just flower, succulent, bush.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is stuff I'm not going to make you roll for.
Sure.
I mean, because you're this
I'm not trying to divine any great thing out of it.
right. You're not trying to
He's actually forming an opinion, but yeah.
brew a cure of the plague from it or something.
Right.
So, but no, looking at it, you think this is mostly flowers, decorative plants. This does not appear to be a garden that's meant for
Any purpose.
Yeah,
Other than pleasure.
it appears to be, yes, exactly. It appears to be a pleasure space.
Lee starts kind of giggling to himself, like kind of laughing. And
It's probably really weird, given the
yeah, I mean, the blood, the violence, everybody's on edge, and he's looking at a plant. He's kind of laughing, and he takes out his notebook, and he starts scribbling in his notebook.
leave. We need to get out of the open.
Wayne, give me a
Perception.
perception check, and I can't remember if you have any relevant or harmful
Nope.
skills.
Merchant appraisal, guns, and mechanics are my 4. So,
Okay, none of those are
14.
14. Okay, Wayne, looking around, everything out here seems strangely calm and strangely oblivious.
I
You're
have that effect on people.
as you look around, there are people kind of going about their business, walking in small groups, maybe sitting around in front of some of the homes talking. You see two women that are there's 2 sacks that they've got put down, and they're going through them, and they appear to be trading fruits and vegetables back and forth.
Okay, so it's not empty. There's people all over.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, it's an agricultural town, and that's kind of what you see is no violence, and like I said, you mostly just see people kind of going about their business.
Can we see the area? So now that we've exited and we're in the new garden, can we see the position or area of the first garden, the original entry point to the tunnel?
Yes, it's a little bit obscured because you've gone uphill a bit.
Right.
So you're kind of looking downhill, and it would be a little bit around the corner. But looking back a ways, you can see the edge of that garden, and looking carefully between the hills and trees, you do also see the actual riverfront.
Right.
And
But we don't see at the entrance at the original garden, we don't see a hotbed of activity
Nope.
or, and then around here, this is all very bizarre. What is the gentleman who saved us, the guy with the SMG?
yes,
What is he doing?
he has slung the SMG over his shoulder and is walking toward that house I described.
Right. So threat secure is his body language.
That's precise. And the only thing you get from him is he keeps looking back to see if you guys are following. If you do, he keeps walking. If you don't, let me know, because he will.
All right. Well, this is
react.
all very surreal, and I have a serious head injury. I'm gonna drop my revolver back into my coat pocket as I want to do, and I'm just gonna stumble behind him and make sure that everybody else is keeping up with us. Because now we're just fated at this point, right? So I'm just going to accept fate and follow this guy.
Okay.
All right, what is Lee doing at this point?
Do you go up to him? I mean, he's sketching something in his book. Standing
Yeah,
in front of
because I came over and I said we need
Yeah.
to get we're out in the open. We need to get inside.
He's sketching one of the flowers, not like super detail, but he's just kind of giving it a quick sketch. And he looks at you and goes, "When the last axe head breaks, I was wrong. We have to get going. You have a knife?"
Yeah, I hand you a knife and it's got blood on it.
He wipes the blood on your shirt, and he cuts the one of the blooms off, and then he you see that the flower was half sketched, and then he pushes it and presses it into the page, and then hands you the knife back.
The knife away. It's like, come on, we gotta get going.
He willingly comes along.
Every time SMG guy turns to look to see if we're following, he turns and he's nose to nose with me. And I'm just and I just wait and stare at him.
Every time you do that, he turns around, he's nose to nose with you, he leans back.
What time is this?
We're in Defiance.
Yeah. So after I get him walking again, I'm kind of watching Emily to see how she looks like she's handling things.
Wayne, give me a 2d6 perception check again. 9, that's a good roll.
Plus 8, 17.
Okay. She's a bit wide-eyed. She appears visibly distraught, but not in a state of complete panic.
Okay.
I don't think you have anything with like psychology or medicine, so you're not sure you could totally evaluate her state, but she's not freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
You're not sure she will, but at the moment, she's not freaking out. She appears to be handling things relatively in stride.
I'll go near her and just kind of whisper down, trying to make sure Joe doesn't hear me. You did what you had to. No one needs to know other than us. Remember, they ask. I did it.
She thinks about that for a moment and says, but isn't survival out here about reputation? Maybe I want people to know I did it.
It is situationally. You don't want the captain. You want to stay on the boat for now. You don't want the captain to know you did it.
Fair enough. It'll be our secret.
Plenty of time to build a reputation. Later.
All right, so do you guys follow?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You guys get to the door. He reaches into a pocket, takes out a key, unlocks the front door, and opens it, steps aside, and motions for you guys to walk in.
I push Joe in first.
Okay.
No, I did not.
Okay, I was going to, if you actually did,
I don't think I can do it, and I won't do it.
Okay.
No, I will actually step in first and look around the room.
Okay. You step in, flanking either side of the door on the inside are two, they're wearing metal breastplates, rifles in hands at the ready. These are actual armed and uniformed standing guards of House Caller.
Okay.
And so the room you're standing in is a hardwood floor, old, creaks under your underfoot, not rotting or anything, just old, creaks underfoot. The whole house has kind of a colonial era feel to it. That it kind of. You ever been like to any of the old buildings along the St. Charles River?
Oh, yeah.
Front? Yeah. I think that's kind of the smell and the feel. It's musty, but it's also kind of got this weird sweet smell to it. And straight ahead of you, there's a staircase that leads upward. And there's some rooms off to the side. You can hear people talking and pots and pans being banged around. So there must be a kitchen back there somewhere. You actually upstairs hear low-playing violin music.
Huh. Well, wave everybody else that it's okay and step into the room.
I walk in.
Okay. Once you guys are inside, he closes the door behind you and flips a lock and then puts a deadbolt into place. Goes up the stairs. Once again, checking to see if you guys are following.
I walk past the guards. I'm like, hey, guys.
One of them nods to you and says, afternoon, sir.
Modemar leaves his shoes at the door.
They give it an odd look, but don't do anything to stop you.
Just, every time I've ever been in Philip's house, they always make me take my shoes off. So
Is there a reflective surface, a mirror or something here?
There is at the top of the stairs.
All right. Well, then I'm going to make sure that, just keep an eye on the two guys behind us and then head up the stairs after everybody else.
Okay. At the top of the stairs, a lot of the area here appears to have been opened up. Mm-hmm. So walls have been knocked down, load-bearing structures are still in place, but while there are still rooms off to one side, the other side's fairly open. And you see a woman in a long, floor-dragging, kind of silver-gray colored dress with white cuffs and a white collar. And she has her hair, short hair, braided a few times over, done up tightly at the back of her neck. And she's staring out the window as a man next to her is playing a violin slowly and quietly. And she's paging through a book. And when you guys make it to the top of the stairs, there is an oval-shaped mirror at the top of the stairs, and you're able to see your wounds. Your shirt's gotten quite bloody. There's the parts of your face, obviously, are torn up. You're fortunate in that none of the junk that you were hit with hit the eyes, hit anything that would permanently damage you. Like, this is all probably going to leave quite a mark, but it's not going to leave you permanently debilitated in any way. The guy with the SMG walks over to the woman in the chair. She looks up from her book, and he begins making motions with his hand, like quite complex motions with his hand, as in like sign language to her. And she nods and says, "Thank you, Timid. Why don't you get these gentlemen cleaned up? It would be cruel to try and talk to them while they're clearly so injured." He turns then, and he walks past you guys and makes a sharp right turn away from the stairs into one of the side rooms. And he points to Lee and Joe, and then wags his fingers inward to motion you to follow him into the room.
I push Joe in.
The room on the inside, this still is a bedroom, probably was before the war, still is now. It's a large bedroom, may have been the master bedroom, and has 4 beds in it. The beds are covered in, it's a heavy cloth, but beneath that heavy cloth you can see that there are tarpaulins that have been laid out, almost like rubber coverings. And there's a guy in a white smock, and you can see his tools set out on a tray, and clean bandages and bottles of various things. Nice sawbones. And when you guys walk in, salt and pepper, hair, well-trimmed beard, groomed man, appears to be... Chad, you would know from the look of him, this is a guy he's on the inside.
Right.
This is not a guy
who's covered with shit.
No, he's not one of the great unwashed wonders.
Yeah.
This is a guy who's on the inside, probably has a good education, and about as good as medical care as you're going to be able to get out here.
Lee walks up to him and says, "Hello," and shakes his hand.
He shakes your hand as well, looking at your face as he does, and he's like, "I'm Dr. Abrams. Why don't you two sit down? That's quite a nasty bunch of cuts you've got there.
Yes.
Let's get you cleaned up."
We fell into some nettles.
Somehow I doubt that.
I chuckle and go, that's like a flower, right?
Yeah. No, it looks to me more like you were shot in the face. Unless they shot you in the face with nettles, in which case we can both be right.
It's possible that there were some nettles in there.
going to sit down and I'm going to point at Lee, indicating that the doctor should do him first.
The
Wow.
the doctor takes 2 towels and brings them over to you. They're warm. And he says, just press this against your face. Hold it there just to staunch the bleeding. And walks over to Lee, hands you one as well. Same thing. Hold it against your face. Just staunch the bleeding.
A bit.
All right. I think what we're going to need to do first is get whatever's left in there out. Make sure you're nice and disinfected. Hate for you to fall ill on me. And then we're going to get you stitched up. Hate to have you bleeding all over the floor in here. Now, gentlemen, I'm afraid that I don't have all of my perfectly best stuff with me, so when we go to do the disinfection, this is going to sting quite a bit.
And don't drink any of it.
All right. I'm just going to kind of lean back as far as I can, lie down if possible, while Dr. Abrams is attending to Lee.
Both of you give me a 2d6 plus body check.
And they said, so that is a 15.
Okay.
7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay.
That.
You guys hear Lee screaming from
What? He's a big, strong man.
who just took isopropyl to the face.
He likes it. That's
The hot load of isopropyl.
He just got a nice isopropyl bukkake. And fortunately, after that, the pain dies off a bit because before he gets in there to do the really rough work, actually do the picking out the pieces and stitching you up and things like that, he drugs you up something proper.
Oh, good.
He gives you guys both a shot of something. You don't know what. You're guessing it's some form of opioid.
Yeah.
Because you feel pretty damn good. And the pain just really doesn't bother you.
Start making observations to Joe about notice how he didn't do this first.
Is the guy with the
Joe looks over at you
Machine gun
smiling and he
cover.
goes, yeah. Yeah. You scream prettier than Casey sings. I apologize for that whole threatening to throw you in the river thing. This was way better.
Well, I apologize for putting last week's potato salad in your shoes.
I just giggle. No, just laugh at it.
The doctor laughs. Gentlemen, think of it this way. If you hadn't gotten shot, you wouldn't have gotten those shots just now. Bright sides. Bright sides to everything.
Ah, Jesus, he sounds like my mother. This is not fun anymore.
Hey, Joe, ask him to check your prostate.
I've known you long enough to know that tone. Doc, please do not check my prostate.
Out of curiosity, how often do you find yourself having to urinate?
Well,
Yeah.
a little bit more frequently what I've been drinking, but not out of the ordinary.
So when you drink, you have to urinate quite frequently.
Or when I drink a lot of water.
Really? And thank you for letting me know. Well,
Yes.
I've been instructed to be quite thorough, so.
I look over at Lee. See, this is why Pops was a fucking nutter. Because people drove him to it. Always talking over him, talking around him. Drove the man crazy.
But you were a lot like Pops.
Yeah.
It's your boat.
Oh, that's good.
Back outside. In the,
So is the guy with the machine gun still there?
yes.
All right. She said your name was Timon?
He nods.
Why would someone want to kill us?
He looks for a moment kind of past you, like he's thinking, and then starts trying to sign to you.
I don't know sign language.
The woman sitting in the chair says, "Because you were coming to see me."
Okay. I look at him. Was that so hard? Is he not allowed to speak?
He can't speak. She closes her book and hands it to the guy playing violin, who promptly stops playing violin.
Okay, I thought he had actually talked to us before.
This is a different guy.
No, the guy who introduced himself as timid talked to you.
Yeah.
And now he's dead.
Yeah.
He isn't
Indeed.
speaking either.
Yeah.
No, I thought this guy did when he was
No, he
when
went-
he was in the tunnel.
And we said we had to go get our friends, and he was like,
I look back. I'm sorry, sir. Did not realize.
He nods and signs something very quick. With a very loud scraping noise, she turns her chair around. High-backed, Victorian-looking chair with a red velvet cushion on it.
I'm sorry if I've offended your
Slave?
man here. I meant no offense.
"Did you cut out his tongue?"
She stands up from her chair and says, "No, nothing so brutal, but he's not allowed to feel offense. So you needn't concern yourself with that. It's not his purpose and it's not his place. His place is to do precisely what he is told, no more, no less, and to evaluate your courtesies is not one of the things I tasked him with."
I still hold myself to a higher standard, ma'am.
Admirable, if unnecessary. She takes the book from the guy with the violin, walks over to a bookshelf, puts it away. Says, "I apologize for the difficulties you suffered on the way here. As a courtesy, not that they were my doing."
No, I'm sure you would have. You would not have allowed anything like that to happen if you knew it was going to.
No, I would not have, and
Because we're wasting your time while my friends get cleaned up.
she pauses for a moment like she's contemplating, like she's thinking about that, and then just drops it. Actually, what concerns me more is Cyrus was supposed to give you more detailed instructions on where to go and who exactly to look for, which leads me to the conclusion that either he failed at his job, or perhaps you didn't pay him sufficient heed.
Was Cyrus the man that walked in the tunnel with us?
No,
Oh, Cyrus was the big guy.
he's the bookkeeper.
He told us next to nothing. He told us that we would be meeting with you.
And perhaps it's time to demote him to another city yet again. Perhaps even Defiance is too nice for him.
I have encountered him years ago when he was in St. Louis. He didn't seem any more pleasant or efficient then either.
I'm aware of your encounter with him. I actually inquired about you, all of you, and the ship of yours before meeting with you. Came to find out from our records that under a prior flag, under a ship known as the Quiver, you had been through our port in St. Louis a number of times, and were actually a valued merchant asset for us. Specifically from Herman?
Yes, ma'am. It does me. I'm honored that you feel we were valued. Are valuable.
I take a great pride in all the things that I possess, and it bothers me when someone would threaten them. She goes back to looking out the window. This whole town makes me sick. Its pretense, its arrogance.
Yeah, Mortimer would know that I'm polite and things. You've never seen me show deference like this.
Right. So that's got me leaning in, like, what's going on? Because he's obviously missing something.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at Emily knowingly, because she can read my mind. So I just
She, does she get it? She looks at you quizzically. She does not seem to. She just looks at you quizzically. About this time, I'm just gonna
Right.
compress time to get it because I'm sure it's fun sitting there doing nothing. So
I'm imagining getting metal pulled out of my face. So.
yeah, and then Stitch is done. About this time, Joe and Lee come out of the side room. They've got bandages in some places, stitches in other places. Their wounds been cleaned up. They don't appear to be bleeding anymore.
Joe has potato salad in his shoes.
They're a little bit loopy looking.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you guys. I'm not going to give you any penalties unless you do something outlandish, but just role play that accordingly. You guys are currently on a metabolizing dose of morphine, so
Joe has his hat off because he's had the wherewithal to have his manners and remove his hat in the house. He's got his hat off, but he's smiling big, kind of wavering slightly, and just holding his hat with his left hand to his chest, looking around the room, and sees that this woman, presumably the Duchess, has turned around, and he bows a little bit at the waist and says, "Ma'am."
she has her hands folded behind her back, perfect posture, nose up just a little bit. Even though she's shorter than you, there's a strange sensation that somehow she's able to look on you from above. She has a sort of presence about her. And she walks over to you and says, "Captain?"
"How may we be of service, ma'am?"
"You've already been of service. And now it's my turn to be of service to you."
"I'm sorry, ma'am. Possibly it's the head injury. Perhaps it's the medicine that Dr. Abrams was kindly to gift upon me, but I don't understand."
Do you know something that people from all walks of life that I have encountered have in common? And she starts pacing around the room a bit, once again, every so often looking out the window with this look of utter disgust.
So when she's not looking at us, I'm looking at Lee for reassurance.
Lee is looking out the window. You don't know if this is Lee's normal sort of he's flighty and distracted or he's stoned out of his gourd.
Okay.
And he's kind of like he's standing there and kind of just staring out the window, not blinking, kind of wavering back and forth.
Gotcha.
I have talked...
I'm watching Motomar and just thinking, please don't embarrass us. Please don't embarrass us. Please don't embarrass us.
I have talked to peers. I have talked to the high class, the low class, the one person that would dare to assert himself as my superior, which I tolerate for now. I have also seen the lowly, the people that live in the streets of St. Louis. I've even had brought before me, simply to sate my curiosity, the worst of the ists and the hangers-on and the mud dwellers of the Western Plains. And you know what every human being I have met has in common? Every one of us shares one piece of values, one piece of morality. You guys will have to excuse, that's my dog having a respiratory attack.
Get your breather.
Well, I was just saying is if he would breathe through his mouth, that actually doesn't happen. Like if you block his nose, it stops. It only happens because he's insisting on trying to breathe through his nose. And he's having something sort of similar to an asthma attack. It's not the same, but it's same ballpark or whatever. But it'll pass in a second. Anyway.
So commonality.
Right. There's one commonality I've seen in the morality of every human being that I have encountered.
Want of food and willingness to kill for it.
You walk into whatever it is they consider home, and you fuck with their stuff, and they kill you for it.
Lee's like, kind of like, as he thinks he's whispering this to you, but he's not. He's like, sorry, man, I was trying to make a play for some lunch. It just didn't work.
Joe momentarily puts his hat over his face, right? Like, so puts his face in where your head would normally go and tries to stifle his snickering. Unsuccessfully.
At least she turns to you. Mr. McCormick, you used to be one of my masked.
Yes, ma'am. He reaches into his coat and pulls out an envelope. And the envelope is very thick, and it has a seal on it.
I'm not trying to reclaim you if you're showing me your papers.
He puts it back.
I accept how that worked out. I may not appreciate how that worked out, but I accept how it worked out. And Mr. McCormick, there was a time that I regretted letting that happen. I was quite angry with our fighter who lost to yours. Did some things to him that I now regret, because your departure may have been a wonderful boon to us.
So,
But you're an educated man. I know you are, because we educated you. Do you remember from your studies the psychology of Maslow, the hierarchy of needs, that all people want certain things and need them to a certain degree and in a certain order? And at the bottom of all of those desires is a need for security.
ma'am, I worked financials for House Kohler. You speak of Maslow. I speak of the wealth of nations.
Adam Smith.
Let us get to the point. What do you want us to do? How much are you willing to pay us for it?
I need you to succeed.
Hear that? I told you we'd be successful.
Mr. Kreider. Captain
Ma'am.
Kreider, my apologies.
No, yes, ma'am.
House Holloway is trying to take away something that's mine.
Lee leans in again, thinking he's whispering, "They're the bad guys."
I'm not that stupid.
Oh, well, great.
So, ma'am, if I'm understanding, House Holloway are the people that are trying to, what's that word? That fancy word you usurp. They're trying to take away your control of Herman.
Usurp, I suppose, is an acceptable word. I would be much simpler and say steal.
Steal means to take without permission.
Lee, I swear to God, I'm going to punch you, and I'm not going to feel bad about it. I'm trying to follow along.
And we appreciate the effort.
House Holloway has expressed to the ruling overlords of St. Louis that it makes more sense for Herman, which was our protectorate, to be under their control because its industry is so similar to that of Defiance, industry they already control. What is disturbing even more is that they are cementing this claim by altering the industry, the output of Herman, to more closely match that of Defiance, thus solidifying their claims. And I have very good reason to believe that the individuals they have sent to enact these changes are doing what they can to willfully destabilize Herman in the process, to create a vacuum for themselves to reshuffle the people that have power there to those that are more friendly, more amicable to them, to people that don't have a relationship with me, to people that have never seen the benefit of maintaining loyalty to me.
Ma'am, couldn't you do the same here to Defiance? if their argument works their way, wouldn't it work your way? You already have Herman. Defiance is a similar business.
Defiance is the one that I have, or I'm sorry, Herman is the one that I have. When it comes to brewing, they have multiples. Their claim isn't without merit.
Yeah, they're right. Because all the great houses focus. They don't diversify. Color was diversifying, and they got called on their shit. So, the other house pushed a claim.
His bluntness is correct. They are right. But let me tell you something else. I don't fucking care. They're trying to take something that's mine, and in the process, they're pushing me toward a corner. I don't know what they're going to try to do next, and so I refuse to give up even something that might, in another lifetime, rightfully be theirs.
How will our success prevent that? Wouldn't our success help that?
Don't you see what you've already done? You're factionalizing the town. As soon as my house stepped away, there was dissatisfaction between the people that hold the means of production and those that actually do the production. There's distress. There's strife. Strife that you have been a linchpin in securing. Not individuals that are an asset of House Holloway, but individuals that have a background with and relationship with, even indirectly, House Color. And therefore, you, whether you intend to or not, are helping me demonstrate that there is value in leaving the town of House Color, or leaving the town of Herman under the control of House Color, for a very, very simple reason. There is something that the machine cares more about than the focus and the function of each part, and that's that the machine runs well. Distress is not acceptable. It's inefficiency. It breaks down. It creates friction. And what you have done, brilliantly, is be both the source of and the solution to a fair amount of distress within that town.
The machine is the government of St. Louis.
No,
No, it is.
I
I look over. The House Color?
yeah.
The
That's
one
right.
taking over.
No.
Holloway.
Holloway.
House Holloway needs the town unstable to make their claim.
No, I get it. It's like a ship. She's
No.
the crew of Herman is dissatisfied, and there is conflict, right, between the people who make the wine and the people that own the facilities to make the wine. So the people who own, as she said, the means of production versus the people who actually perform the labor of production.
Lee looks right at her and says, he's about to go into Marx.
We are.
I don't know
neither.
Mark. But man, with all due respect, we didn't have anything to do with that. All we did was
No, we
calmed it.
We did. We did. This is our fault.
We stopped it. For now,
right.
temporarily.
That's exactly what I was
House
going to say.
Holloway makes a stake on the town. Begins to claim that it is rightfully their property,
Right.
their protectorate, and should not remain where it has historically, which is under House Color.
And they're correct.
Legally. Technically speaking, yes, they are. I just don't care.
They're right.
And as soon as they begin to move in to actually enact this claim,
They upset the apple cart.
they upset the apple cart, and as soon as it gets upset, they fail to do anything to stabilize it. Instead, it's actors who are outside of the system who come in and suddenly find a way forward that requires maintaining a status quo that has always been there. Simply a new paradigm, but not a completely new structure of leadership. You did not unseat You did not unseat Mr. Barnes. You did not unseat the populist leader, Mr. Crawford. You got them to work together again.
Which one is Barnes and Crawford?
Barnes is the man who has my contract.
Yep.
Crawford is the head of the longshoremen.
Gotcha. Okay.
You have the winery still producing even during its transition.
Yeah.
You found purpose for its stock other than dumping it into the river.
Yeah, that was short-sighted. of me.
It was stupid.
I mean, it was kind of obvious to do something with it.
And who does all of this? Individuals that have a long relationship with House Color. Individuals that have family in that town that have a long relationship working with and for House Color.
Lee reaches into his jacket again and pulls out his papers. I officially do not have ties to House Color.
Your family works in a protectorate of House Color.
Not anymore.
That's what you're going to help me fix.
I literally took a step back like I was waiting for the shit to hit the fan. And because I'm confused and I'm not sure if I'm high. Well, I'm okay. I am high. But she is oscillating between, very poised and, very highbrow, very sort of ruling class and sort of temper tantrum. So I'm a little concerned that when she may or may not go off.
This is what happens when you take rich people's money.
Well, and Lee is not. Well, Lee's being Lee, and it's
Well, Lee is being high. Lee knows how to play the game.
Yeah.
Lee is not playing the game right now.
no, it's true. It's absolutely true. But you're also
Being Lee,
The
how
thing
Lee
is,
with you.
right now. Our inhibitions are gone,
Right.
and your desire to hold back just isn't there.
Right.
That's the way I'm reading it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, ma'am, if our success is in your best interest, and I believe that your best interests are our best interests because things have been smooth, and I don't like people coming in and upsetting our town. How you wanted to speak to us, you obviously have something in mind that we haven't thought of, or some aid you want to give us.
Again, what do you want? How much you willing to pay?
When we've. Sorry.
Which
Yeah.
is
what
out of character
what Lee said.
exactly what I'm asking,
Because,
but
ma'am, if I may ask, and I'm
except I am trying to play the game.
You are,
I don't
yeah.
have the skills to do it.
Yeah.
what happens when House Holloway approaches us and makes us an offer or accuses us of something?
They already have.
I mean, us personally, us individually, like this meeting right here.
They already have. That's the wineries making the fine wine.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying that I've never spoken to anyone from House Holloway.
Well, I say we as a town. And then my family who runs the winery, they were there. House Holloway was there. House.
Right, but aren't they going to be upset with us in particular?
Captain Kreider, let me try and explain the complexities of the politics of ownership and the politics of power that exist within the machine.
Out of character, it's literally called the machine.
Yes.
That's how they describe
That's what I thought you said.
That's not the name of their government. It's the name of their ruling concept. Like
Jusei, the North Korean governmental concept. Jusei communism.
right, exactly. And so it's the
Or
same.
Maoism.
And so she's using it in the same word. The machine is what they use to metaphorically describe what it takes to make St. Louis get along and function. And it's a metaphor. It's been used long enough. You're not sure they even think machine is in like that kind of machine when they say the word. They're starting to lose track of the fact that it's a metaphor.
Do the people outside of the machine, these guys, anyone really, understand how hyper-focused the houses are and why?
Probably not.
Okay.
It's much more feudal than that. In that the understanding of the average person of the details of court intrigue, it is so detached from their lives that unless soldiers come riding into their town and change the taxes or attack them, it's very, very abstract. It's not something that the passing caravans from St. Louis tend to sit around and talk about. So it's not a secret. It's just not really on the radar of a lot of people.
If you don't educate people on how to read, they're not going to know how to read. So if you don't educate people on how the government runs, government still runs, people just don't know how it runs.
Yeah. And for my character, he believes in diversification.
Yeah.
This whole idea would go against everything he would, believe is good business.
And Lee understands the hyper focuses of each of the houses. So when she says, well, they say that they have a claim that they make the wine because they're the ones who make all the wine, but Herman was mine, they took Herman away. That's why Lee is like, but they're right. From the process of the machine, that's how it works. Your temper tantrum does nothing.
Motomar thinks that they're talking about a literal machine.
Mm-hmm. All right. Cap. Perhaps I can put this in a paradigm you would understand. You own your boat.
Not exactly.
Let's just say, for the sake of this metaphor, you own your boat.
Okay.
Okay. The complexities of your personal loans and such are not my direct concern.
Unless you could do something about them.
We'll come back to that. But you own your boat. Do you own the individual boards that boat is made of?
Well, yeah, I own every part that makes up the boat
Why?
because it's part of the boat.
Because you own the boat. If I was to go to one of those boards, and I was to show you a particular knot in the wood, do you own the knot in that board?
Of course,
Why?
because it's part of the boat. It's part of the board that's part of the boat.
It all traces upward. The same is true, but in a different way, of how our system of governance, control, and economy works. If House Holloway owns the industry of brewing, of distilling,
It does, right?
it does mostly,
Yeah.
then it follows that therefore they own all of its constituent pieces. If, therefore, Herman, Missouri is primarily a town that functions in line with what they do, you can track that back upward to say that because it is a piece of distillery, therefore it is part of their property. The same way a chunk of a board of a boat you own is yours.
So you're basically reinforcing what Lee has already said, is that House Holloway has a rightful claim on Herman.
Correct.
And you want us to do something about changing the law of the machine?
No,
No.
you already have, because within the economy of the machine, there is one thing that is of much greater importance and value than that angle of claims of possession, and that's stability. You see, I can claim that the properties under my control are stable. Therefore, the properties that have been historically mine and require my touch to remain stable can also be tracked up the chain and said to belong to me.
We know all of our plans. She wants us to go back to Herman and make everybody fight again when we got them to stop fighting.
No. It's the fact that you got them to stop fighting that's of value to me. Because you gave me a legitimate line of claim on Herman, Missouri by doing so.
So getting the conversation back on course, when you said that we had already done something for you, stopping the infighting in Herman is what we have done for you, thus giving you a counter argument to Holloway's claim on Herman.
Exactly. And now what I need to do is to take you to St. Louis to simply testify that House Holloway is incapable of keeping the town stable, and individuals that have a long working history with House Color were able to maintain that stability. And that creates a claim that I can take before the overseer, and I can attempt to reassert the control of House Color over Herman, Missouri.
Well, ma'am, I'm afraid we're not on Miss Lily's vine, and this is up to Captain Lee. We're on his boat now.
Thank you, Captain.
I tip my hat, Captain.
Lee goes over to the window, and he just kind of rubs his face, shakes his head, and he actually slaps himself a couple of times. Just a whack, whack. Oh, and it hurts a lot because he's got all these face injuries.
I look over at Amelie. I don't like the idea of two people that are high making this decision.
Okay.
They're high.
They're high.
Lee turns around.
I'm like, oh, yeah.
Then I look back to where they came from.
What is this person's name?
The one you're talking to?
Yeah.
The Duchess?
Duchess.
The
That's her title.
Title.
You don't know what her actual name is. You actually know of her. Yeah, I mean, you.
Yeah.
This would be no different than working for the federal government, knowing the president of the president. In the same way, when you were with House Color, she was the ruler.
Okay.
So,
And is there anyone higher than her in House Color? Okay.
no,
Okay.
Well, he's composing himself.
you'd have to go outside of the houses to the overseer.
So, while he's composing himself. Ma'am, for my curiosity, what is the primary industry of House Color?
Mostly machine parts. We do metal work. We don't actually mine the metal, but we do the machining, we do the cutting, the fashioning,
This is why we bring wine before all of this to St. Louis, load up on machine parts, move the machine parts downriver, get something else, bring it back to St. Louis, unload that, get machine parts if needed, move it back to Herman.
and being able to get that alcohol without a middleman's fee, along with whatever agricultural goods you were carrying, was always a great boon to us.
Not to mention the contraband.
Is there more than one overseer?
So we certainly couldn't turn the town into your primary industry, but could you make the argument that we are a resource for your primary industry?
Not easily, no. It would be a very, very difficult chain to argue. Because primarily what I gain from control of Herman is two things. First, it's a buffer. Anyone who wants to attack me politically will do so there. It's the one and only place in my portfolio that I have an arguable claim. Second,
And they're doing that now.
that's exactly what they're doing. And so far, they've been successful. You have given me the first glimmer of hope that I can turn that around. The second reason I like having it is because that diversification allows me to obtain certain goods, namely agricultural goods, cheaply. Because I don't have to bargain with another house, nor worry that they might hold something over my head or lose some shipments to turn the screws on me.
It allows you to be more self-sufficient.
Precisely. And they don't like that because it reduces their power.
It's just good business. Thank you, ma'am. I think I understand now.
Ma'am, who are those fucks that we butchered in that tunnel?
Do you want my speculation?
Do you want her to guess?
Yes.
The only individuals that want you off the table that bad is House Holloway. Because everything you represent to me, you represent to them. Except, oh, what's a small word for this? Backwards.
Yeah.
The same reason you helped me. You hurt them.
Oh, I'll hurt them.
If we go to St. Louis, they're going to try to kill us.
They are. Which is why you're going to be under my careful escort and guard. If I let you sail past St. Louis, let me tell you in no uncertain terms,
They'll try to kill us.
yes.
I can look at Joe. They're going to try to kill us either way.
Can we? Sorry, my little groggy. Can we prove that those men were with House Holloway?
No. Not easily. They could. But
Would it make any difference?
Well,
They didn't try to kill her. They tried to kill us.
I'd like to remind you that you're in a protectorate, Herman, of House Holloway. So,
it's why I came up with a bullshit diplomatic reason to be here. I wanted to intercept you before they'd had too much time with you.
wait, are you saying we can't go home?
Joe, I'm saying that if we don't play our cards right, we might not leave this room alive.
I'm not going to kill you if that's what you're worried about.
No, she needs us alive.
But the people in this city don't.
On the other hand, if we don't do what she wants, then we're useless to her. But she needs us alive, so that she'll have to have leverage over us. So, that brings me to my part in this little game. What do you want us to do, and how much you willing to pay us?
She wants us to testify. She just
I
told us
didn't
that.
ask you, Philip. I've asked her 5 times.
I want you to go to St. Louis with me. I want you to stand before the overseer. I want you to testify that it is cultural elements of house color. I am not staking a claim on you, but I want you to testify that it's historically cultural elements of house color that best understand its own and that averted a catastrophe that was created by the mismanagement of House Holloway,
Which is not entirely untrue.
which creates a sufficient point of ownership that I should be able to levy for a decision.
But,
Now, what are you going to be paid?
yes.
I will first of all guarantee you safe passage from, meaning I will personally protect you. It's not a veiled threat.
We've seen the boat, yes.
I will personally protect you in your travel from here to St. Louis and past St. Louis until you are a safe distance that I am confident that House Holloway either will not be capable or will not be interested in pursuing you. And once the decision is made, they'll have less interest in you anyway. If you want a payment beyond that, she turns to Emily, and Emily says, you keep Grandpa in power. You keep Grandpa safe. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. That's what she would have said. You keep Grandpa and me safe. We're going to renegotiate your contract.
If that's on the table, we're not going to renegotiate the contract at some veiled point in the future. We're going to negotiate it now, here.
The Duchess contemplates that for a moment and says,
This
very
is not
well.
an agreement, by the way. This is just negotiation.
Very well. But it will be stipulated as only enacting and replacing the prior contract upon completion of a good faith attempt by you, in the plural, to convince the overseer of our rightful claim to the town of Herman.
Absolutely. Again, not an agreement of... we're not shaking hands on this yet.
I
just want to
understand.
know what the price is.
But and I mean sincerely, no disrespect, but House color and its influence was nowhere in our minds when, I mean, it had nothing to do or any influence over the decisions that we had made in that moment.
Don't worry, ma'am. I'll prep him.
It's an interesting theory. Thank you, Captain.
I will prep him before the time if we come to an agreement.
But
She looks you over and says, "You're still under the influence of drugs. I don't expect you to remember the events clearly."
Joe, you wanted the town to keep functioning like it was,
Sure.
right?
Well,
Right?
No.
Simple concept.
not exactly.
You didn't want anyone to get hurt. You wanted the town to be calm like it was, and you wanted people to do their jobs.
Oh, well, more importantly, I mean, it really boiled down to making sure that a little girl didn't get lit on fire. That's what it was about.
Even before that, you wanted them to get back to work and do their jobs.
Well, yeah.
That's what they've always done. Whether you thought you were doing anything for House Color or not,
I see your point. It's fuzzy logic to me.
Shall I make counterpoint? Counterpoint is that House Color does not give a shit about Herman. It uses it as a buffer, and it uses it as a plaything for diversification of business, which is not its main intent. What's the other house?
Holloway.
House Holloway put a claim on Herman. Within the government of House, the machine, they are correct. House Holloway came to Herman. They made a pitch for a business idea, which upset some people, but they were correct. It is a better pitch. It will benefit the community in the longer run if House Color doesn't come through and poison everything. So,
When he says that in that sort of aggressive fashion, what's her demeanor like?
Very straight-faced. She's very poker-faced.
Got it.
So the question here is twofold. One, do we want to choose a house which will allow us to either go back to the status quo, which was not that much, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great, or gamble on the future and make things better for the people of Herman? The second option is we try not to die. Because if we say no to her, it isn't going to go down well.
There's nothing that would stop us from helping make the town better under her influence.
I disagree.
I look at her.
Her argument is stability, which
you
is another
seem-
name for stagnation.
You seem to me to be a wise businesswoman with your idea of diversification and with your idea of self-sufficiency. I'm sure you see the value of that we see the potential.
Mr. McCormick has lofty ideals, but his observations are fair. But, Mr. McCormick, I did not engage in harming Herman.
No, you did not.
There was benevolent neglect.
Stagnation.
Stagnation, if you prefer. Historically, had I done anything that would have interfered with your current plan to improve life in the town there, I may not have enacted it. It may not have been a priority for me. But do you have any reason to believe that I would oppose it, that I would stop it, that I benefit from the town being...
Yes. Because the town is a chess piece to you.
And no one will fight over a pawn half so much as a queen. So the more rotten Herman is, the less value it is. And therefore the less likely anyone is to take it. Is that where you're going?
More or less. You need Herman to be a thing. A stable thing. A certain thing. To serve your ends.
You have three options. I would tell you a storm is coming, but the storm isn't coming. It's here.
Mm-hmm.
Lightning may not be striking around you, but the storm's here. You can side with me. You can try your luck with House Holloway. Or you can really take the long odds on your own. Whatever the case, where you sit right now, physically, geographically, is at a point of political impasse. Because while I sit on the property of House Holloway, property that neither we nor they are disputing, there are a lot of eyes, not just from these two houses, but from many houses on this. If I do anything, or they do anything, everyone will see it, and that house becomes the de facto loser. If you choose to walk out of here, and rather than going through a tunnel, walk in broad daylight down the street, back to your boat, hop on board, and sail away, I couldn't gun you down if I wanted to, and neither could they. Not here.
Then why were we brought through tunnels to get here to begin with?
Because you were following a liar.
We were following the timid that we were introduced to wasn't the real timid. And he's the one who led us into that tunnel, who led us into that ambush.
My agent found you by following what he recognized as gunfire. He's mute, not deaf.
I'm not worried about it.
Out of character. How many armed people are in this room?
In this room right now, one.
No.
All right, I look.
No, not counting you guys.
Right. What I do is,
One.
she starts getting this all, and
Tim is still standing there, his arms folded, but he has this.
just sits there, and as things are getting more and more aggressive, he doesn't really process everything, but he understands enough. And as she starts to talk, I look right at Lee, like with an eyebrow up, like I could gut her right now.
Lee, as he's talking, kind of does this. And he says, I'm not afraid of getting gunned down in the street. That is never my fear. The boat catching on fire in the middle of the night, our crew getting bribed away, eating some bad catfish in a port one day. This is a taste of the game that awaits in St. Louis.
In character, his thought,
Can you-
but he won't. In character, his thought, but he won't say it. Is he wants to say, "Well, House Holloway tried to kill us," but he's already wondering if she actually sent the person to make us more favorable. to
Yeah.
her.
Yeah, and just to note, if you guys want to whisper, speak out of character, just say you're doing so, but do it at full volume for the sake of the mic. But I won't use that against you. So
Yeah. He's being very polite. He doesn't trust her at all.
Absolutely not.
So may we discuss this in private?
you need to go ahead. I'll be here.
Think it makes any difference? Speaking in private?
I always like speaking in private, especially where there's food and some beer.
Well, ma'am, if you'll excuse us, I think that we're going to go and get these gentlemen some food, and we'll discuss. Is there a favorable time that we should come? We should come calling.
Provided it's not the middle of the night, come whenever you like.
All right then. Well, ma'am.
You see Lee kind of go like that.
Back down.
Okay. She sits back down in her chair, and the violinist starts playing again. And they don't stop you from leaving. I mean, nobody obstructs your departure.
Yeah. Lee walks out.
Okay. Once you guys are back out on the street, you do hear them locking the door behind you, but that's nobody takes parting shots at you or anything.
As soon as we get kind of away from the house, I know we'll come up with something, but we're fucked.
So, okay. Is there, and this is, and I meant it. This is your ship. What's the right call?
Well, the right call is what we did. Stalling. We don't have enough pieces of the puzzle yet. We don't know where House Holloway stands, and don't trust that those were Holloway men. Maybe they were. Maybe they weren't. But
Yeah, out of character, that was my first instinct, is that this was a false flag. But then I thought, I don't think Joe would think that, so.
In character and out of character, he thought it, but he would never insinuate it. So that's why he brought out why did you lead us through the tunnel? So So she would clearly say that.
Right, but those are 3 human lives that they would spend to do such a thing. How fucking evil would you have to be?
Are you expressing this in character?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You say that?
Yeah, I'm like, those are 3 human lives. Who would do that?
Lee goes, huh.
What do you mean? Huh?
I mean, huh.
They don't care about us. Or
Emily
them.
says,
well, they
"You're
care about
gonna
us.
Throw
now.
him in the river over less.
We were
I
gonna
was
throw you in the
kidding.
river over less.
See?
Lee
Everyone's
knows.
an asshole.
Lee knows there is no way I would have thrown him in the river like
Lee
that.
stops.
Not wearing that heavy coat.
Lee stops and he turns around and looks right at you. Have you seen Casey? Stop for a minute.
No, I get.
Think about it. They did that to him.
Against his will?
What are they doing to you against your will right now? Was it against his will? Maybe not. Did he have a choice? Probably not.
Joe, I don't think you heard how she referred to her agent.
No, I was
Yep.
I was in the other room getting doctored.
I apologized to him for the potential of offense because he can't speak. And I asked him, I told him, I don't know sign language. Why don't you just speak? Her response is that he is not allowed to have offense
I need
or
a
opinions or
beer. I need a House Holloway beer.
Me too. So,
I know, right?
her assistant that is that close to her. She doesn't see as a person. He is property.
Lee starts walking off
Wait,
towards it.
is Holloway just as bad?
Lee stops again, turns around at you. They're all terrible. It's a shit show. But Mudgar, I'm really sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the alternative.
I've seen a shit show.
You were the shit show. Do you know what his people do?
I hear stories.
Make them worse in your mind. You don't even know the half of it. I've never seen it. I just read read the reports back then.
I don't want to walk in and meet these people and testify.
No.
What
Because we don't want to be... We're already in their spotlight more than we want to be.
Here's the thing. You guys are thinking Herman, which is good. I mean, yeah, I'm thinking Herman. We're all thinking Herman. You're thinking your boat. You're thinking Herman. We're thinking our families. It's exactly what we got to be thinking. There's a bigger picture here. Herman, to her, it ain't shit. House
Then-
Holloway?
Then why is she trying so hard to keep it if it doesn't matter to her?
He didn't
Out-
say it didn't matter.
Out of character, does Jen know what chess is?
I mean, I'm sure I've seen people playing it, but I don't get it. Yeah,
But you understand the concept.
yeah, I'm sure
pieces.
many
Okay.
times that I've been to St. Louis, I've seen people
Okay.
playing chess.
He didn't say it didn't matter. He said she didn't care about it.
I asked because Lee is about to make a chess analogy and he didn't want to insult your intelligence.
Sure.
Do you know what chess is? It's a chess game.
Right.
There's small pieces and big pieces. And then there's big pieces that do different things. Herman is not a big piece. We are not a big piece.
Someone is making a play at her. And this was the first place they could hit her. That's why she wants it.
She even said herself.
She said it herself. She knows she has no claim on Herman. Because of that, she knows that's where someone will go after her, and that's what they're doing.
Listen to how she described it. In the chess metaphor. Herman is a pawn. She knows she has that pawn out in the field to lose it. To get taken so that she can see who and what takes it so she can counterattack and take the bigger piece. Now, I don't mean that in ists or whatever, coming in and wiping the town out to the foundations. I mean conceptually, the heart, the soul of the town, the economy, the people, the happiness, the future.
It's bait.
Yeah.
We're the bait. She's the fisherman.
Yeah.
Holloway's the fish she's trying to catch.
Now,
I got you.
let me think two steps ahead here where this conversation will logically play out. It's Viva la Resistance. Well, Holloway's fucking us, and Collar's fucking us, and St. Louis is fucking us. Herman for Herman, right?
No.
No. Because then they will crush us, and they will burn it down to the foundations. So put that shit out of your mind right now.
Holloway doesn't care about us any more than Collars does.
So the only way we're going to make this right is we have to play the game. The game is what we just did up there. Poorly.
I thought you were great.
I think you're great.
I think you're an asshole, but you're my asshole.
I look at you, it's like,
I'm a
I
dick surrounded
can't
by
believe you said some of the things that you said to her. Is that how you play the game? Or were you just really high?
Part of the game.
Because this isn't my game. You know that, man.
Part of the game is never showing your whole hand. Out of character, he's like, what the fuck did I just do up there? In character, he's like, no, I'm all cagey and shit.
I meant to do that.
Yeah, I meant to do that. Yeah, this is how you play. There's a game going on here. We'll go from chess to cards. It's like we're playing poker. Except everybody has all the cards in their hand. What, 5? And we have 3. We need to get dealt more cards, which means we need to talk to the other players.
And how do we go about doing that?
I have a feeling that some of them are going to come to us, except they might have a gun. But whose town is this? Who owns the town?
Holloway.
I mean, shit, we're in House Holloway territory right now. They've got ways of communication. They have a hierarchy of command. We can pass messages up the chain. Carefully, well worded, diplomatically, not quite so cocksure as what we did up there. Just don't agree to anything. Don't sign anything. Get them. Here's how you play the game. Get them to talk. Get them to keep talking, because guess what? These assholes love talking. Yeah.
She had one point that really concerns me, man. She is better off with us alive for now. They're not.
That's fine. Because she can do worse to us than kill us. And I'm not talking rip her fingernails out or anything crazy like that. If she needs us on that stand to say what she needs us to say, she has something worse than shooting us in the head. She can obtain leverage. She gave us a carrot in there. The carrot is negotiating out your contract so we can buy it for a pencil. Who cares? That's the carrot. What comes after the carrot?
Our families.
The stick.
Well,
So we need to see what the other team is offering. Now, they might come at us with the stick. We need to play it so that once they get that stick out of their mind, they start offering the carrot. And I will say, there is no wrong answer here. Joe, you have to decide how you want to play it. She was right. There's 3 ways. House Caller, which is the status quo in stagnation. You're always a pawn. There's the other house, whose name I forget.
Holloway.
There's House Holloway, who we actually have a chance to maybe make Herman grow. But then they might shoot us in the face, too.
And we'll still be a pawn.
And then there's our way, which I don't know what our way is. Which is just playing in the river. The river splashes and flows around us, tries to drag us under, but we just stand.
Well, either way, we're crossing one of the houses of St. Louis.
Yeah.
Actually, probably more. Because the houses have allies, and again, this is a bigger picture, which we just don't see.
So which one is it better to side with? Let's not even think about Herman. Let's set all family, carrots, sticks, boat, set it all aside.
Mm-hmm.
Which house would be better to side with? Which house would it be better to have moving us around the chessboard?
Well, there is no house of large-breasted women, so that's off the table. Other than that, there isn't a good one. I mean, they're all playing a game. They all rise, they all fall, they have alliances, they backstab each other. I mean, this.
Which house would be most likely to leave us alone and forget about us and let us do what we want to do?
None of them.
Because we don't want to be in their spotlight, man.
Well, it sounds like
You
status.
dealt with this. We haven't.
It sounds like going with house color then is a good decision because things will be the way they were and we'll be left alone to do what it is that we want to do.
Well,
It sounds like Holloway is going to change things.
but they're kind of changing things for the better.
That's what it looks like now, at least in the beginning, but we don't know months or years from now if it actually is going to be for the better.
She has a point that they didn't think things out, though. The town was ready to fall apart into a civil war
Yeah, and I think that's a
Like I
great
said,
point.
all the houses
if
suck.
we weren't there.
Lee,
Yeah.
color will fuck us.
Oh yeah.
And Holloway will fuck us.
Oh yeah.
But, like in the cat house,
Mm-hmm.
can we fuck them first?
See, this is that revolutionary thought I was telling you guys about.
We can just fuck them all.
Well, okay, are we putting all of our options on the table here? Is the little girl with us?
Oh yeah, she's right there.
I tell her to run forward, go to the tavern, start ordering us some beers.
If you think I'm walking away from this conversation,
And if you think I'm going to say this next part with you here, this isn't grown-up kid shit. This is I don't know where you stand shit.
I don't want to die and Grandpa doesn't want me to die.
Fair. Go order us some beers.
She walks off down the road, flicking you off over her shoulder.
They grow up so fast. Okay. I'm not advocating this. We're just putting all the stuff on the table. This is Modamar's how do we fuck them option. We go back to the house, we knock on the door, we see the Duchess, we shoot her in the face. And then anybody who comes through the door to see what happened, we shoot them in the face. Then we leave through that tunnel. And then we sail down to St. Louis. That will throw the house of color into a seismic confusion to where the little pawn of Herman will not quite be thought of for some time. This will allow House Holloway to submit its claim for us to enact our plans and for us to get our shit going.
We will then also be in the spotlight more than ever as a risk. Holloway will want us dead, even though we did them a favor, won't they?
Right.
Because
Well,
we're
the
in a
whole
risk.
point is that nobody knows. I might have forgotten to mention this. We have to kill everyone in the house.
Even everyone knows this.
Well-
If this is their town, they know we're here. They know we met with her. I'm sure they know we met with her.
more importantly, I'm not going to be any part of murdering that woman for no reason.
Oh, don't give me that judgy look. Like I said, Voldemort asked a very legitimate question. I gave my learned opinion. And again, I'm not advocating it. I'm just laying all the cards on the table. That's why I had her go, because we don't know who she is with. She's,
Yeah,
what,
well,
12? She'll tell everybody.
Option 3 is out. We're not killing those people for no reason.
Oh, it would be for reasons, just it would be killing. Again, I'm not advocating.
We don't have any provocation to kill that woman. That's just not right.
Modemar does his best Lee impersonation. And he holds out his hand like, don't take offense to this. And he says, you wouldn't get in and out of that building. There's no way.
He has a point.
But I could.
He has a point. Also, you say we have no provocation to enact option 3. I'm not arguing against you. Again, I'm not advocating this. I'm just...
You know what's challenging about you, Lee? I don't know what you believe. What's the right thing to do? That's all I'm asking. What is the right thing to do here?
Why is there a right thing?
There's always a right thing and a wrong thing.
No, there's not.
The right thing to do is to do the most amount of good for the most amount of people.
The right thing is to make sure that that little girl doesn't get hurt, and you know that. And you know that there are times where there's a right thing and a wrong thing, and it's real clear.
Yes.
But that
Not
wasn't
always.
That wasn't my question to Lee. My question for Lee is, what do you believe? What do you think is the right decision here? You said, do the most good for the most people.
Right.
The most good for the most people is, in my gut, is for Herman to stay Herman and leave it under the control of House Color, and then let us have maximum influence.
That means, again, not saying you're right or wrong, I'm just lining out the path from that view. That means to go back to the house,
Right.
not shoot everybody. Talk to Her Majesty, tell her we agree with her, and that we will take her up on her offer post-negotiation.
Right, because you need to get whatever that shot is out of your system before you're writing anything up.
Fair. Then we let her escort us to St. Louis, hope to God that we do not get attacked, and then we stand on court and we give our testimony, how she wants us to give our testimony. Now, that sounds very easy. It's not. There are things going on that we don't understand yet. There's pieces moving we don't see. So she could be walking us into a trap. Also, you know how...
Joe, you remember, because you're asking him here what he believes in. You remember a couple seasons ago, we were going into a town down south, and I told you about all the wool that they do.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were coming in with dye. So we're going to sell some dye to them.
the hell did you get dye from?
A long story. That's not the important part of the story, though. What we didn't know was that they had a virus run through their sheep over the winter, and they lost most of them. We were bringing a useless product to them because we didn't have the information. I think that's what Lee's trying to say here for why he doesn't know what the right thing to do is. He doesn't have the information. He doesn't know if there's been a virus run through their sheep.
Right.
So how much time do we have to stall?
Well, I haven't much thought past lunch, but we keep making like 2-foot steps toward the tavern. I've been fighting for a sandwich for the past hour.
He does have a one-track mind.
Hey, you don't get this skinny by not eating.
I bet Eaton is on one of the those hierarchy of needs she was talking about.
Laszlo.
Yes, Laszlo's hierarchy of needs. Eating is important. So, I would also like to throw out there, again, you know how if in Herman somebody steals a potato off of a stall in the market, what do? They get caught, we grab them, I mean the town.
Right.
Whatever. grabs him, and then the mayor of the town, we have a trial, and we say, oh, well, these witnesses, what'd you see? Well, we saw this guy steal a potato. Okay, well, we're going to put him in the stocks, or give him a whip, or we're going to have him dig a trench, or whatever. That's not how this is going to work. You know how I got my freedom? Casey had to kill a man. Like him. We played a game. We played the game. Casey and I played the game that we're talking about here. And people died. Just so that I can stand here and talk about sandwiches and beer with you guys.
Why,
And just so Casey can stand on that boat and not have to kill more people.
why was Casey willing to do that for you? To help get you out.
Let's deal with one piece of drama at a time here.
Okay. How about this? How many more people out there are angry at you? There was someone on that boat that you didn't like the looks of. We go into St. Louis with you. What kind of drama is that going to bring us?
Like I said, there's a bigger puzzle here. We don't see all the pieces. And that's not me blowing you off. That's me agreeing with you.
Fair enough. Let's get food.
Holloway beer!
All right, you guys make your way back down toward the dock.
No, the tavern.
Well, that's what I meant.
Oh.
It's down the hill.
Oh, okay.
So you're going back down the hill dockward, okay?
Mhm.
So it's not right by the dock, but you do find a restaurant that's not a tavern per se, but it's more of a public house that's
Mortimer, how much you want to bet the girl fucked us on the beer? She either ordered too much or not enough.
Ugh.
and when you guys walk inside, handcrafted furniture, post-war, nice wooden chairs, wooden tables, tablecloths thrown over them. There's people that are sitting in there sort of chatting it up. It's kind of a weird time right now. It's sort of like mid-afternoon, so it's fairly empty. Not a lot of people in here. And because you're not really on any particular meal schedule here. And when you come in, you see Emily at a table, and she waves to you, then flicks Lee off again.
I gotta sit down. So,
Is there a keg, or is there no beer, or is there like this big bowl of potato salad?
Okay. There's a couple things on the table.
Yeah, okay.
All right,
How'd you fuck me?
There's a basket of bread. There's several like leather tankards or whatever they're called
Sure.
for beer, and one of those like ceramic jugs that you pour beer out of. And she has her right hand on a bottle of whiskey. And I got the beer you wanted since you're a pussy. But-
This is a stated fact. That's true.
But for anyone who's not a total pussy, there's also this. And she slides the whiskey over.
I'm not laughing in character.
I sit down next
Hey,
to her.
Mortimer, you know what they say about pussies?
What?
They can take a pounding.
They can.
I sit down next to her. So, what have you overheard in here?
I don't,
How much have you had to drink?
There's nothing to hear.
12.
It's boring in here.
Oh my
No
god,
one
we have
talking
2
about us
minutes.
in town?
The long roast brisket's good.
Oh my god, I love brisket.
Then fine. There you go. Long roast brisket's good.
I give her a look. I was like,
So is this my last port?
but you were listening to see if there was anything, right?
Is this my last port?
We don't know what's going on yet.
Don't look at
And
me.
that's his.
I'll throw you
I point
overboard.
and that's a question for him.
It's not your last port. Now, let me have that whiskey.
It's your penultimate pour.
She pours you out a shot.
Okay. I hit the shot and I slide my glass right back to her.
She pours out another shot.
Thank you. I'll hit that one too and keep the glass in front of me. Not because I'm not ready for a third.
She refills it.
Okay.
It's kind of like, I'm not wrong though. You were listening to hear if there's anything to listen to, weren't you?
Lee's over by the bar.
You're always listening.
Watching.
Watching's good.
Where I'm from, sitting in that room, you didn't hear much.
What did we miss? He's drunk. Or he
No.
was high. He was high. I was focused on her. What did we miss?
It's not there, you missed something. It's why those problems occurred.
Go on.
House Holloway, most of the businesses that they have, they inherited. House Holloway rose to power. The infrastructure was already there. They could brew, they could distill. Herman's a different project for them because they have to actually build something. That's not their strong suit. They brought in someone who does know how to build, who does know how to maintain, but she's not doing a good job because there's something wrong with her. She goes into... She blanks out. She like spaces out and stares, but I don't mean like she's thinking about something else. I think there's something wrong with her brain. She just spaces out, stares into space, just at nothing, and she's making mistakes because of it. House Holloway's leaning on her too much, and that's why her plans for Herman are no good.
She missed some very big key elements that could have sent the town into disaster.
They're following her too closely. They're doing exactly what she tells them to do because she knows what she's doing. I've been told she's really good at it. But my guess is she's good at it because she has a lot of people here that cover for her. Phil, that's another important thing. This is where she's from. Those people they want to retool Herman, they're from here.
Yeah.
House Holloway,
Lee mentioned that to us.
if they are going to treat it like a plaything, the people who are actually going to be in the sandbox doing the playing, they're all from here. They're not from St. Louis.
I kind of look over at Lee.
He's at the bar.
Ah. So did he miss that whole conversation?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
He's talking to the bartender right now.
Thank you. Emily, you want to be safe. I'm sure you want your grandpa to be safe. Are you with us? It's in your best interest right now, I know, but this was valuable information that you could have shared on your own.
I could ask you the same question. Are you with me? I appreciate what you did for me out on the far shore. But after that, I've been treated somewhere between a burden and a suspect.
I haven't treated you like that. I look up over at the bar. Yeah, you've been treated like that. I haven't treated you like that.
Well, given that you were discussing something that kind of has a whole lot to do with my future, you talk about the future of Herman, we'll like it or hate it. Guess what family kind of is Herman?
Did I ask you to step away?
Sure didn't fight a whole lot to keep me there.
Would I have won?
Say, hey guys, I think this kind of impacts Emily. Maybe she should sit around instead of being a bitch and going down to the restaurant.
Emily, look,
Drink your whiskey.
Lee wanted to propose something.
Marriage?
I actually blurt out laughing.
Lee wanted to propose something very adult and very ugly that he wanted to spare you from having to hear. It had nothing to do.
I just got saved by Phil in a tunnel.
Did she say it that way?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Okay, you and I both know that he didn't send you away because of an age thing. He had a proposal and he doesn't trust you.
No shit. But you want me to trust you? You want me to be on the side of somebody who's not on the side of me? I mean, come on.
I look at John.
I'm 13, not retarded.
She's right, though.
All right.
That is fair.
I'll tell you what. When we get back to the Vine, I'll tell you the entirety of the conversation that we had without you as I recall it. But I can't tell you here. Fair?
Lee comes walking up. He's got a leather bag and a beer. And he sits down. And he starts drinking. I would have thrown her overboard.
Yeah, I know you would have. Now,
What's in the bag?
Oh, nothing. I just traded with the bartender there. I like it. Nice bag, isn't it?
Oh, you traded for the actual... It's a bit effeminate, but...
Hey, a pussy needs a good bag.
I take another shot and then slide my glass toward Emily, waiting for my refill.
Look,
there's another.
you ask if I'm on your side. I'm on the side of the town because that's where my family is. And I will do everything I can to not let anything happen to you while we're out here. That's the best I can give you because I don't know what side you're on.
Fine. Look, I want you to. Holloway wants Herman.
We got that fourth card,
Holloway wants Herman.
and it's a face card.
Color wants Herman.
It's kind of a doozy. I've had a few shots.
She's.
Injected.
Yes, nothing works out quite so well as alcohol on top of morphine.
Hey, I'm a Brodor. I'm cool. Joe's fucked.
That's why in the hospital they hit you up on the morphine pump and then give you a highball to even out.
Right, yeah. To take the edge off.
Yeah, take the edge off the morphine.
Right.
Holloway wants Herman. Color wants Herman. Fuck why they want it. Here's the important thing. We have Herman. Who controls Herman? Who really controls Herman? It's not about the people that call the shots. You want to know why Grandpa has power? Because he has money. And because people want money. People do what he says because on some level, they want to do what he says.
And when that fell apart, people listened to us.
God is on the side of the big battalions.
But if they wanted the town burned down, fine. Maybe somewhere in the future they change their mind and they burn it down. But right here, right now, they want that town. Who has Herman is the families that live there. It's the people that have money there. It's the people that have power there. It's people that have political pull. If neither side gets it, I don't know what that means for the little game they play.
No, they actually wouldn't burn the town down. What they would probably do is use their agents in the Carver family to attack the town, and then they would withhold aid to the town until we capitulated to their desires.
There's no
we
option where
what?
a house doesn't have us.
What?
I'm not.
To be wedded to their desires?
Capitulate. It means to agree to without...
You mean surrender?
Thank you.
No, not to the is. That's surrender. I mean, we're talking revolution again. Revolution's not an
No.
idea.
What I'm not suggesting we go to war.
Yeah, we'd lose.
Exactly. I can sit in a window and count soldiers going up and down the river. I'm not saying we go to war. But I'm just saying that we might have more power than we think we do.
I don't think that we can make that determination yet. We need to pull the lens back. We need
Collar
to
and Holloway are fighting each other. The one who wins this little pissing match is the one that gets Herman. We can decide who gets Herman.
Okay. That's the next card. That's card number 4 in our hand that we're missing.
Who is Collar's allies? Who are Holloway's allies?
Wait.
What other pieces do they control?
Lee,
Who
you've
is
got
the tendrils into the Carver family?
You've got to
next?
hear what she just told me and Philip while you were getting your bag. It's really important. Tell him what she told me and Philip about this woman and about her brain illness. And
The people that are doing the conversion of Herman to make it more like Defiance, they're not from St. Louis. They're like you, okay, or any of us. They're people from a town that make wine that are stuck in the middle of somebody else's politics, and they've picked a side. Or maybe they've not had a chance. Maybe they've just been stuck in on a side. We're stuck in on Carver. We're stuck in on Color. They're stuck in on Holloway. But the people that are doing it really, you got to think of them more like you, not like St. Louis. All right, they're from this town. I know the woman that Emma Fowler. She's the one that they sent to Herman to start the conversion. She's the one that's with the guy from House Holloway. I know you met him because I saw it happen.
Yes, I did meet them.
She has something wrong with her. I don't know what it is, but there's something wrong with her. She's sick. And I every so often she blanks out. It's like she's not in her own head. Like she's dreaming or asleep, but she's not. She's awake. And they try to act like it's not happening, but she's been in my own house. I've seen it happen. I watched it happen. And you want to learn something about the people that they're going to use to reshape Herman to be more like Defiance? You want to learn about these people? They're all here. And all of them, they know where Holloway's dirty laundry is. They know what all the problems are. I don't know what you do with that, but
the things that she said that were really important were, this is the first business venture, this is the first holding that Holloway has that they haven't inherited the infrastructure, that they have to build the infrastructure from the ground up.
it's
The people that they have doing it, the woman they have in charge of doing it is
Crazy.
she's not going to be successful because of this illness, but also the people that are going to be doing the bulk of the work at her direction are coming from Defiance to go to Herman. So what does that do? What does that do to the infrastructure and product of Defiance? I don't know, but the point is that they're biting off more than they can chew. So they're in a position to not be successful. And it seems like that, to use your poker analogy, that the cards are against them.
but they have to be successful, and that's what was worrying Grandpa about them. They have to be successful, because if they walk into Herman and they're not successful, not only do they risk losing Herman, which, to be honest, is what Grandpa pretty much wanted, but not only do they lose Herman, but any other town that they try to go after, or maybe any house tries to go after in the same way, history's going to look a little different. There's a precedent there. It doesn't work like that. That maybe they can't do it. You're from House Collar, used to be. House Collar, they make stuff. They didn't make the factories. Most of the factories were already there. It's no different with the wine. Herman made wine long before House Collar was even a name. So did Defiance.
So what are you trying to convince me of here?
Look, Holloway's in a bad position. Culler's in a good position. The man who controls Herman is the man who has the contract on my boat. The woman who's vying for control and in my mind has a better position for control of Herman is willing to renegotiate the contract on my boat. For my family and for your family, she's here right now. They're not. We have good information from Emily. We just take that information and then let's just go to St. Louis and tell these people what they want to hear.
Two things. One, and you're not going to believe me. You're going to think I'm bullshitting you. Joe, this has always been your decision. Always.
He takes another shot.
So if that's the path you want to go down, we're right behind you. Two, I just want to remind you, I'm not trying to scare you off or change your mind. Lee, need you to understand this. This isn't going to be like somebody stealing a potato off the cart and you witnessed it. Casey killed a man so we could be free. In front of a cheering crowd. He's done it many times.
If we go and testify, is Casey going to have to fight?
Maybe not Casey. Maybe there won't be a fight. There is a whole thing. There's a whole game. We might not even make it to the stand. We might get killed on the way there. We might get worse than killed.
I can't take the indecision. I can't take the analysis. We could go back to Herman and it's in control of Holloway and we get killed.
Like I said,
we could run aground on our way to St. Louis and get killed.
Absolutely. You can get bit by a snake walking out the door. I just don't want you to be shocked if we're walking through the streets of St. Louis to do this thing and somebody puts black bags over our heads.
Okay.
And then
Gotcha.
Horrible things happen.
Well, so not 2 hours ago, I was walking down a tunnel and I got shot in the fucking head by a dead man's gun, and I'm lucky to be alive. So,
Emily punched Schiller. By the way, it's pretty hot.
And now it's an innie. My point is, so are you? Look,
Joe,
I need all of you.
Let me stop you right there. What's your decision, Captain?
Well, we're gonna finish our brisket.
God, it is good.
Let's go back and see the Duchess.
Okay.
I have a question real quick. If this was so important, why would they send a sick woman to do it?
They don't know she's sick.
But if she saw it, then surely her family saw it.
She's a goddamn dove, Modamar. She can read your mind. She certainly can read someone's poison. She probably smells a poison brain.
Because, Modamar,
She's good at it.
she might not be sick. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not even disagreeing with you. It might be something else.
I made the
We
wrong
don't
character for
have
this game.
all the
No, I love your
Yeah,
character.
I just made the wrong character for this game. Because out of character, you're a fucking genius, and somebody's fucking poisoning her, right? But Joe wouldn't even, until you said that, and he's gonna blow his brains out because this world is so ugly.
That's in fairness, Phillips never thought of that either.
Oh.
That is a St. Louis game. The idea never crossed his mind that someone would be poisoning her. He's just used to somebody's covering for her incompetence. That's what he's thinking.
Oh yeah, her incompetence has been promoted up.
Yeah.
She's
Peter Principal.
oh, this is Emily speaking, not Game Master.
Yeah.
She's sick, but she's got a reputation that when she's not having those episodes, she knows it. She knows she knows all the stuff about making wine and all that. She knows it really well. She's good at what she does. I think it's like that timid guy. He's a badass, but he can't talk. She's no different, except, okay, maybe she can't fight. Maybe she's a different kind of badass. But she's,
Like me.
but she's good at what she does. They just have to do it around whatever sickness it is she has. But maybe that sickness is getting bad enough, or maybe if she doesn't have the right people to cover for her when she's having these attacks, she starts making mistakes, or they have to make decisions because she's not able to.
All right, Ensign, I'm going to need you to make a full report.
I just did.
Not to me. When we get back to that house, I'm going to need you to repeat this, but I'm going to need you to do it with manners.
Fuck.
Precisely.
Fine.
All right, then. All right. Gentlemen, we have our course. I have the rudder.
I have the brisket.
Well, to the Vine and her crew, then. She takes a shot of whiskey.
How does she take it? I mean, does she just like zip it down and she's good, or she's like,
From the colors of her cheeks, you think it's the latter, but she's trying to pass it as the former.
gotcha.
I take my whiskey pop style and drop it right in my beer.
Go, was it a Boilermaker or whatever that's called? Charlie, what are you doing?
Everybody is sniffing the floor over here.
Well, the fact they're sniffing the floor doesn't surprise me. I don't know why he's trying to get into Eric's bag. Okay, anyway. All right. So, after you guys get done eating, you head back up the hill. Still afternoon. You know, it's maybe like 3:34 now, but it's still afternoon. The streets are getting... This town does not appear to be as busy at its center, generally speaking.
Ooh, who's got notes now?
Joe is passing a note. You passed so many notes, I thought I was you.
Right.
Yeah. Joe's passing a note to the game master. It's a true statement.
What's on the note? What's in there?
It basically says, "Can you smell my butthole?" And it's got two boxes, yes and hell yes.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Okay.
you guys go up to the door, and I'll assume, well, they're actually probably watching. So as soon as you get to the door, before you even knock, the door opens, and one of the guards that stands at the door lets you in and says, "I assume you're here to see the Duchess?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
She's expecting you. Please continue upstairs."
Thank you.
They
Take my hat off.
close the door and lock it behind you.
Head on up.
Okay. You guys go up. The Duchess's chair has been turned. She's still sitting at the window, but it's been turned so that the window is now at her left hand instead of in front of her. And there's a small circular table in front of her that has some cuts of meat and a ceramic
The brisket? I mean, it was really good.
and probably added and some ceramic glass on a saucer with some tea in it, and she's having her own meal. And when you guys walk in, she motions to a pair of couches up against two of the walls, and "Please sit down. Don't mind me. I'm taking supper a little early."
Was there a bookshelf in here the first time? I just kind of want to, as I said, I want to glance over and see what kind of books are up on the shelf.
It's, in terms of era, a bit all over the board, but it's almost exclusively fiction.
Okay.
So, ma'am, we'd like to continue the discussion from earlier. we'd like to iron out the details in the agreement and what it is that we gain by going to St. Louis and testify, but we are inclined to do just that.
All right.
Lee, you're up.
Is there a writing desk in here?
No, but she folds her hands in her lap, and the violinist is standing there. Sans violin was the man who's playing violin before, and she looks up to him and says, "Please clear the table. Take this back down to the kitchen. Tell them to keep it warm for me, and bring me some paper and a pen." While I'm waiting on my proper implements to draft a contract for your review, or you can draft one for my review, however you prefer. Let's work out the terms. Go ahead. What's your wish list?
When we testify to the best of our ability, the truth, which is, and then I explain that, how Holloway screwed everything up. And,
Right.
Yeah. Joe's contract will be null and void. It will be satisfied. Meaning, he will get ownership of the boat, 100%, and the indenture on our families and the overhead on the property and the businesses will also be satisfied. And House Color will give us a license to do business in all of their ports and in St. Louis, tariff-free.
And
we will be given a writ signed by yourself that if any House Color vessel wishes to inspect any of our vessels, our current one and any future, we will show them the writ and they will not inspect our vessel.
And
we will be allowed to have armed guards on our boats, and any boats that we have. We will be allowed to mount any weapons on our boats short of explosives.
And
we will be the exclusive agent for House Color for river traffic. And Lee reaches into his pocket, takes out a piece of paper, and hands her a list of cities. There are about 3 or 4 on there.
she kind of glances over. She's like, "Your ship isn't large enough to be sole service to these cities."
We will be. We're building a fleet.
Okay, I said wish list. I didn't say this is what we're agreeing to. So, all right, you want to be an exclusive agent to ports, select ports of ours. All right, what else is on your list?
I want a cutlass, like a pirate, like a proper cutlass.
I was about to interrupt him, but I can actually get behind that. I think we all deserve cutlasses and new, post-war, manufactured in St. Louis, machined cutlasses.
You want? Okay.
Like a cutlass that Pops would have been proud to punch a man in the face with.
Machined cutlasses.
I'm not sure what would have made Pops proud, but fine, if it's cutlasses. What else?
Well, Emily, you had some concerns about your grandfather? About your family's safety? We just want to make sure we get this in.
She shakes her head and says, "No. color stays in power, Grandpa's probably safe.
The ability to diversify the wine that we're creating. The freedom to do it.
No. Let's not get too specific. Pops used to always say it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. Let's not get too specific about what we want or don't
I
want.
don't recommend that as a bargaining tactic.
Pops also said the sun was staring at him
Every day.
every single day.
Damn it, I miss Pops.
And after I talk about the diversification, I
Except
look at
cloudy
Leah to
ones, I'm sure.
correct the language to whatever would make sense to her.
What did Philip ask for?
The ability to diversify the wine we produce.
Basically,
The freedom to do it.
We would like the ability.
We want to make
you
good
want
wine
to
and we want to make
you want to
vodka.
civilly re-engineer Herman. That's what it sounds like.
We want to enact House Holloway's wine enhancement plan for the betterment of Herman and ourselves.
And also continue to make the vodka because then there's a market for that too. Especially if we're the only ones making it.
Yes.
Diversification.
Is there anything else on your wish list before we actually get to?
Motomar! Do you need anything from this nice lady? What do you got?
That's actually the best negotiation I've heard all day.
I want your doctor.
You know, the ship does need a doctor.
And
You want not just a doctor, you want my personal doctor.
Yes, what I want.
The man has spoken. Again, it's negotiation.
Fine. Dr. Abrams.
And his supplies.
okay, out of characters, I want Dr. Abrams so bad.
You will almost
I just want us
give
all-
up the cutlass.
I just want us all standing on the deck of Miss Lily's Vine with our matching almost cutlasses, because mine's better. And it is Dr. Abrams looking behind him. You know, he's looking at Defiance and looking at the ship he came in on and learning that this is his life now. That's brilliant.
Bleeding profusely out of his ass.
I'm sorry.
I want armor. We're going into St. Louis where people will potentially try to kill us. I want to have a bulletproof armor under my shirt while we walk through town.
Sure. That won't protect you there. But yes, sure.
All right.
I-
Is there anything else we want to put on
Yes.
this list?
I have one thing, but I have to ask Emily in private. I'll take her into the next room. I just need 2 minutes.
Okay.
I apologize.
She goes with you.
I go down to her level.
She's like, I'm a little young for that.
Yeah, well, I already proposed to somebody else, so listen. Real quick. You're smart. Don't give me bullshit. You're smart, right?
Okay.
Do you want to be masked? Because I can arrange it so you aren't.
They already tried. It's one of the reasons I don't leave the house very often.
Are they after you now?
They're not after me, but Grandpa had to fight pretty hard, spend a lot of money on a lot of people to keep me from getting taken away. And I got spooked. And so I never left the house even once it was all over.
Do you want us to add to the negotiation a guarantee that they will not take you? Or are you confident in your grandfather's whatever he did? Because I don't know what he did. I'm putting the offer forward.
Lee, I appreciate the offer, and I won't forget it. Thank you for fighting for me. But I'm not going to accept, not because I don't think they'll try, but because I have to be able to fight and win or lose that on my own. I need them to know that I'm not hiding, that they can't have me because they couldn't get me.
That is very noble and brave, and I appreciate it. People died so that I could take my mask off. The world doesn't need heroes. We have the potential to guarantee that you don't have to fight.
Then out of respect for the people that died to make you free, I'll accept that.
Thank you. He goes back in.
Okay.
I want to guarantee that this list of people, and he draws out another list, and these are the smartest children in Herman.
Okay.
Her name is on it.
Okay, she takes it.
Will not be masked.
Okay, what else are we putting on this list before we actually begin negotiations?
Do we have someone who can whisper GCs? A vet? An animal handler?
Dr. Abrams.
No, he's a human.
I don't have anyone here. Do I have masked that can do it? Yes.
Do you have anyone who's not masked?
Oh no, if we had someone that can whisper GCs, if they're not masked, they get masked.
I tell you what, we have a couple of GCs. When we pull into St. Louis, we would like to take on their services, not bring them on with us, just unlock the animals.
You want to know their commands.
Yes.
Okay. Still writing a wish list. What else do you want on the wish list?
I have to say, I think that you've done. I think you've been quite thorough.
All right then.
I mean, you missed the Dr. Abrams thing, but
No.
Modamar's got us covered.
Yes. I mean, this is why we bring them along. Not for the drudge work that we do, but for the slam dunk that wins the game.
Right.
All right.
Out of character, Wayne, do you want to ask her who the Rat Man is?
I don't think that's in character. It's not on his mind.
Not ready yet? Okay.
Yeah, he's not even thinking about it right now.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, by the
Too
way,
focused on the situation.
the listeners did vote, and they did pick what bit of information I'm going to reveal ahead of when I would have otherwise done it. So there is that poll did matter, and if it's not this game, it's going to be in the next 1 to 2 games that something they requested will be revealed ahead of schedule.
Okay.
Yeah. Out of character, I don't think I'm ready for that to come up yet. In character, he's not thinking about anything like that.
And that's fine, because Chad was thinking about it. Lee has no connection to it,
Right.
so he couldn't
Yeah.
even bring it up.
Who is the Rat Man was on that poll. I won't tell you what won, but who is the Rat Man was on the poll.
Gentlemen, anything else?
No?
I'm good.
All right, then let's work down your list, and I will.
What are we saying yes to?
In return for testifying, here's what I'll give you. You want Joe's contract nullified. That's going to be difficult and meddlesome, so I'll offer you something a whole lot simpler. I'll simply pay it off.
Works for us.
Nullifying it would require meddling in local politics in a way that I have no interest in doing. And also sending a message that one of our most useful power brokers in the city is impotent.
And it also infuses some cash into his war chest, stabilizes your power base. It works for everyone.
And thanks him for years of service.
Mm-hmm.
The port license, tariff-free. I will grant you, provided, along with the exclusive agency to the ports of that you requested for House Color, with the following stipulation. Anything you are trafficking, we have right of first refusal on at fair market value. If you don't want us tariffing it, then we want to be able to buy it at cost.
Phil, that's your department.
We could lose a lot of money with that if we have a good cargo and they want to buy it at cost.
Fair market value.
Fair market value, when I say at cost, I don't mean at manufacturing cost.
But
I mean at market cost. That in return for not charging a tariff, you're not going to gouge us. Because if I have yours being the first ship rolling into every port, then I need to know that we have access to the best of your products at a fair price.
That is reasonable, and it's only a handful of ports as well.
And it is they're guaranteed.
They're guaranteed sales.
Potentially. Now, we might be able to get a better deal than fair market value somewhere else, but fair market value is still profit if we play our contract.
And that's what I'm willing to trade
We know we won't have competition.
in return for that guarantee. You want a writ that you won't be inspected
By house call.
by house caller.
I understand you wouldn't be able to do it for the other houses.
I can accept that so long as you've not given us good cause to think that you are operating against us.
Fair.
I'm making notes here on the terms of this. You want to be able to arm the individuals on your ship. You already have that right.
And arm the ship.
And arm the ship anything shy of
Rocket launchers, grenade launchers.
heavy weapons. I can accept that. I don't know, quite frankly, that it bothers me that much anyway. I'm not worried that a couple of merchant ships are going to roll up and take over our ports anyway. That's fine. You want exclusive agency to select ports of ours. I will grant that, provided you are one, merchanting in, and two, doing so in a reasonable time, the necessary goods. I won't starve out a port simply because you're not around.
Fair.
You have to be able to fulfill a purchase order.
And
We have right of first acceptance for said purchase order.
That's fine. We'll do a mutual right of first refusal.
And it will take us time to build up our fleet. Your fleet.
The cutlasses are asinine, but not hard to machine.
We're 19.
Oh, I've had so much to drink.
You want Holloway's. You want the right to re-engineer the wineries and the distilleries in
Basically, in Holloway's,
Holloway's image.
Right.
Quite frankly, I don't care. That's fine. I don't mind providing you with a doctor and supplies.
Do you maybe not want to supply that doctor? Can we be provided with an equivalent doctor in St. Louis?
Let's do that. I've known Dr. Abrams for years. He's one of the few people that I have actually grown fond of. I would hate to part with him.
Fair.
You want armor during your time in St. Louis, I'm happy to provide that. You getting shot dead on your way to testify, quite frankly, defeats the entire point of this anyway. You want us not to mask the list of children in Herman, I can accept that. And you want someone to teach you to reverse engineer the genetics and the pedigree of your GC horses to teach you how to control them. That's only time taken away from another task. It's well worth the effort. So if we have an agreement, then we'll write this up, sign it.
I'm a notary.
My seal sort of neglects the need for one, but if you want to notarize it, I won't stop you.
I like notarizing things. I mean, I bought the stamp, so I want to use it.
They bring out pen and paper, and
I begin.
yeah, you begin writing up the contract. Chad, go ahead and give me. I know this is like almost a laughable formality.
Mm-hmm.
Give me smarts plus your Paraclete, which I think is your 3d6 one.
Yep.
So yeah, 3d6. Pick the best two. Add it to smarts or intelligence or whatever it's called. So 11 plus
10.
Yeah, 21. Okay. It was a formality roll just to make sure
if I pay a bullet, I will get 24 to expert.
You already are fine. She's not out to screw you.
Right.
I was just curious if you would randomly, because you're drunk and high, screw yourself.
Oh no, I'm like loose now.
Okay.
I'm good. I got
It's like bowling. You're in that zone.
Right.
My best bowling scores. It's always
It's like a pitcher in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's because you get too deep, you can't bowl, but if you're too sober, you can't bowl either.
Yeah.
There's a sweet spot. Programming's the same way. I program best in this like sweet spot of alcoholism. There's this point of like ultra high functioning alcoholism.
And then there's a point of just passed out under your cube desk in a.
Which the last time I did that was I was jackhammered off of a Chinese wine.
I find there's a level of that for dealing with in-laws, too.
Yeah, that's all the way up. That's 11. That's not like 5 where I'm talking about.
So when they're done, when Lee's done writing the contract, and
He
we
needs
have
a cigarette after that.
we have all the signatories, but before Lee leaves, I want to get the contract out to make Amelie part of the crew, because we never finished that.
Okay.
So I'd like to do that at the same time.
I'm sorry. That's just something message what we're saying.
Oh, essentially, I was just saying that I would like Lee to also finalize the contract that makes Amelie part of the crew.
Okay.
Okay. I want to do that in the tavern.
Okay. Then before we leave, I would like, so when we're done signing, I'm going to turn to Amelie.
They write 2 copies, identical copies, and you notarize, which basically legally is going to serve as your seal.
Yeah.
And then she uses her own personal seal on the other. And so there's 2 copies, both sealed by both of you, and you have one, she has the other. And she says, very well, now this is signed. Do you need time in port?
Why were we here?
We're actually on our way out. So the answer is no, ma'am.
Then I'm going to begin prepping my ship for departure.
Mm-hmm.
We will depart within 2 hours. We will take on your ship on the booms, and you will be transferred to our ship. We will take your ship along with ours through the Chain of Rocks Canal. We will port in St. Louis. Once you're done testifying, you'll be sent on your way. If you want, I'll even have our vessel escort you a distance down the river just to make sure that, however this turns out, if someone's burning for revenge, they don't have the opportunity.
Excellent.
And then, before we leave, Emily, would you mind telling the Duchess? Is that the correct way to address you, the Duchess?
She knows.
Would you mind telling the Duchess what you told us specifically about Emma Fowler and her illness?
Okay, Emily reports. She explains all of this, and the Duchess listens, and then calls out Dr. Abrams and has Emily repeat it again to him. And upon, he listens to the whole thing and says, after he's listened to it, he says, the medical term for what you're describing, having not examined her, sounds like something called an absence seizure or petit mal seizure. So it sounds to me like she may be suffering from intermittent seizures, and it's possible they're growing worse over time. Could be symptom of an underlying condition, or could be the condition itself.
To the bar, then?
Yep. I am the last one to leave. I pull the doctor aside after everyone's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Could her condition be an implant?
You'll have to excuse my naivety. I thought you were going to ask me if it could be cured. Could it be caused? It's a disturbing thought. I suppose someone with the right know-how, it would take a great deal of understanding of neurology to do. Is it possible? I suppose. I'm not personally aware of something like a run-of-the-mill poison that would do it.
No, I don't mean poison. I mean an implant. Like...
Are we talking cybernetics here?
Yeah. Just curious.
If someone has given her an implant of that sophistication, then there's somebody meddling in this that their technology goes beyond anything I have access to.
Lee just kind of goes, and then he walks out the door.
Awesome. Let's get to the bar.
Okay, question. It's about 10 o'clock. Do you guys need to wrap up the game?
Yeah, I should probably get going
I
soon.
do want to do a post-game question. All right. So we had, I guess it was about 2 games of more character-driven RP. One game that's a little bit more action-adventure.
No action. I got shot in the face with that.
That was the adventure.
Oh, yes.
And then
It was brilliant.
this game was real heavy on politics. Probably the next game, I don't know for sure, it depends on what you guys do. Probably it will be a mix of action, adventure, and more politicking.
As long as we get cutlasses.
Once you guys sail to the south, once you get south of here, you're going to start getting out into areas that are less settled, less civilized. It's going to be much more like the Skies of Glass game that you guys played before in Cape Girardeau, where things are going to be a lot more
Fluid.
wildernessy, shall we say? It's going to be a lot less politics, sort of metropolitan and suburban politics, and it's going to be more about sort of frontiersland and kind of you'll probably encounter iss and things like that. So there's a lot of diversity that you guys are going to encounter in this campaign. But the question that I had for you specifically regarding tonight is, did you guys like having the politics as a feature of the game or in the menu of things that are going... Because once again, this is a fairly diverse campaign because you guys are traveling all over the place. So you're going to see all kinds of different stuff. But what I want to know is in the menu of places you're going, are you okay with the politics? Do you enjoy it? Is it like, screw this, don't ever do it again?
I love it.
Okay.
I love the politics. I love the subterfuge. I love the potential for conspiracy and paranoia. As a player, I absolutely love it. As Joe doesn't get it. He hates it, and he just wants to get stuff done. But it provides a great opportunity for Lee and Philip, for Lee to be Lee, and for Philip to kind of learn how the game is played and kind of make the correlations between business and politics being the same. So I like that a lot. But at some point, I think Motomar and I might need, I don't want to speak for Eric, but, certainly I'm going to need to be in my element at some point as a character. But as a player, I fucking love it.
Well, with Lee, in that room, that's his element.
Right.
And from the room to the street to the tavern, back to the street, up to the room, that is Lee's thing.
Well, and that was
as soon as we get on the water, Lee is in a bad place.
So for me, I like the wilderness stuff. The politics stuff I like, but I wouldn't want a whole campaign in St. Louis.
Yeah. No, it's
doing an arc there and then moving on. I think is good.
Okay.
See, playing a different character and a whole campaign in St. Louis, I'm in.
Okay, because the what I was going to say is or what I guess I did say, but I'll reiterate is that this game, because one of the things you guys requested from the start was what I think was that you wanted to see a diversity of what was out there. Yep. And I realized that for the part we're dealing with right now, if we take out the prologue, if we look at the part that we've dealt with thus far, it's been politics has been a persistent theme, and Lee has really kind of been in the spotlight.
Yeah.
Once you guys get south of St. Louis, particularly well south of St. Louis,
Joe and Lee are going to switch roles.
Yeah, it's going to change a lot because you're going to start, for example, things are going to become a lot more about Philip at first, and I think you're going to see sort of this slow ramp up also of Joe and Motomar's elements. Mm-hmm. But I just wanted to make sure, once again, that I'm not in this multi-course meal. I'm not serving a salad that nobody can stand. So I didn't, because like I said, if you guys weren't digging the politics, I can find some way to...
I like it, and I see the path forward of Lee, the Game Master, leveraging Lee to set up all the dominoes, and then in just a couple of games, and then we go on, and then Lee is like having some real character moments because he is way out of his depth. But the plot that got set up is all swirling now and interacting with these guys.
Yeah, well, and what they voted, what they being the listeners voted for you succeeding with Pops, the piece of information they want revealed, it's going to knock a lot of dominoes.
Right.
I'm going to be revealing a lot of things pretty quickly, because maybe not broadly, but it's a knife that's going to cut deep, because it even doesn't explain everything that's going on. It's going to cut deep in terms of revealing a lot about one issue. And so, because I have to fairly answer the question they asked to have answered, and not just give some BS, sort of, whatever kind of answer. It's going to require, you guys are going to learn a lot pretty quickly, and I'm going to shoot to get that out there. Ideally next game, if not, then certainly the game after.
I love the politics. There's no doubt about it. I love sitting back. It's so funny. I just dawned on me today. I'm just watching you guys do this politics stuff, and number one, it's like the every politic, like Vampire the Masquerade, all these games that are supposed to be like really heavily politics are nothing compared to this in my mind, because I'm just like listening to you guys talking metaphor and stuff, and I'm like, man, Motomar wouldn't get any of this. and it's like tonight was like all metaphor, and I'm like, man, and I don't want to be the clown all the time, but it's that's kind of where he is. And then I just see him as this character who's like so out of his element, he defers to everybody. So yeah, getting some more rustic setting and things like that would be nice. But I love being a fly on the wall.
Yeah, and certainly, I appreciate that, but certainly you will not remain a fly on the wall. Once you give it a little bit, because once they start to get away further south from St. Louis, it is going to be a more rustic environment. I absolutely have plans for the background hooks you gave me. There are going to be games that focus on you the way that. So, just bear with me while I work my way through.
It's fine. That worries me that Lee's pretty soft. I don't know if he's going to be able to.
Lee's really soft.
It was interesting when you made the call of "we want your doctor." My thoughts are like, no, we don't want a doctor that's got the ear of the Duchess.
Well, it was interesting. The reason just kind of a meta game or out of character thing was, I think actually in a way, it was. I don't know, Chad, if you intended to do this or not. I will neither give nor withdraw credit. I will just simply leave it. I don't know if you intended this or not. But everything you requested was pretty much general self-interest in business. This is what we want out of it. I want your personal doctor was a power move. Because that was the only thing on the list.
What's the doctor your thing?
Or was it his?
That was Modamar.
That was Modamar. I'm sorry, Modamar.
Yeah.
Modamar, then. I'm sorry.
Like I said,
Eric.
we were just doing bullshit drudge work.
Right.
He did the power play.
I say, Eric, okay, then let
Slam
me
dunk.
change that to Eric. I don't know if you did this. I'm sorry, I'm bad. Eric, I don't know if you did this intentionally or not. But everything else was business. Was I want $1 for the wrench. That was the only thing where it's like, oh, and I also want the picture of your grandma. It's like,
No, you can keep the frame.
yeah, that was the only thing in there where it was actually a power play, where it's like, I feel like, or it sent the message to her, we feel like we've got you by the balls enough to ask for something straight out of your own pocket.
Right, and that was something actually that I thought about. When the initial thought was, I want to have access to his morphine.
Right.
But so that as I'm thinking about it, it's like, okay, this guy is a kept man. He's not allowed to go around. He's got his own little setup. He's kind of important. So I thought, well, let's see how much. And when you said when Lee says, oh, well, can we get an equivalent doctor? I almost stood up and was like, no, we want him.
That would, if you had, there's a good chance you'd have gotten him. It would have created some interesting role play. She doesn't want to let him go, but it would have created some interesting role play.
So here's the thing about negotiation that was interesting about that whole scene, is that everything that we asked for, we got, with some minor caveat, with the exception of the doctor. And we're still ending up with a doctor. When you go to buy a house and you give them, and you offer them a dollar amount, or you go to buy a car and you give them a dollar amount, they look at that dollar amount, they feign discomfort, and then they say yes, you paid them too much for that house or that car. We didn't get enough out of her.
She didn't have to counter.
She did not counter offer enough, and I think that, at least the way that it was played in my mind, the counter offering that she did was, for the most part, with the exception of the doctor, was sort of feigning discomfort. Well, I can do this, or I can do that, or I can give you what you want, but I need to make it make sense to you and to me both. We could have asked for more, because not only is she getting what she wants out of Herman, she's actually, not only is she putting her thumb in the eye of Holloway by keeping Herman, she's going to put her fist in their throat and choke them on it, because she's going to damage them significantly.
Well, it's not just, to explain the politics of St. Louis, it's not just Holloway.
Right.
She's sending a message to the houses in general that you make a move on me,
right,
I will humiliate you.
Yeah, and that's why it was important to give her the information from Amelie about Fowler, in my mind, that was just another piece of information that she needed to know, that she could utilize and pursue, but it also heightened our value.
Right.
So well, and going down the list, because I had to, when I was doing this, I had to think about this from the standpoint of someone who has this level of authority and economy.
Mm-hmm.
So what is this really worth? Buying out the contract for your guys' wooden ship.
Well, from her perspective, buying out the contract for the wooden ship. From our perspective, freeing our families from
Precisely.
indigent
But from her
servitude.
standpoint, what's the actual cost?
Yeah.
Because the thing is,
Done with cookies.
Yeah.
because the thing is, the distinction I make mentally between her and Emily is Emily is passion with heart. This woman is passion without heart. She's passion but head, and
So,
that's and when she thinks dollars and cents, that's nothing to her. You want to trade tariff free. Well, as long as you're not marking up your prices to cover the tariffs anyway, she's not stupid. What's that cost her? You don't want to be inspected. But once again, if you're not screwing with her, she doesn't want to shake you down. You want to put guns on the ship. Well, after this trial, guess whose side you're de facto on anyway, no matter how much you want it to not be true. And on top of that, whoever's coming after you, if you're gunning them down, that means you're killing her enemies.
yep.
You want exclusive agency to select ports. Well, if you're not screwing her to where she can't feed people, then what does she care? You want cutlasses. Her house manufactures
Yeah.
stuff. Machine a handful of swords. It's weird. It's not like you guys want a mech.
Right.
It's not a complex order. You want her to rejigger the wine. She never cared about the wine.
Yeah, it never was about the wine.
You want a doctor. Okay. That might be a little ducks. Once again, as long as it's not her personal doctor.
Yeah.
You want armor while you're in St. Louis. Well, once again, she doesn't want you shot anyway. You don't want her masking a handful of kids from Hermit. She's fishing from much deeper ponds.
Yep.
And you want someone to spend a couple of days working out the genetic history of your GCs.
And unlocking them and teaching us the
Right, but once again, you're not asking for the people.
Right,
You're
yeah.
just asking for a couple days of lab time. Mm-hmm. That's not a big to her.
Right.
That's not a big price.
So, Lee's perspective, because remember, Lee's entire reputation was built on fairness and making sure both parties are winners. And Lee is underhanded in ways that the in-character group doesn't quite understand yet, but he really stands behind his reputation as a negotiator, as being really fair. What my out-of-character goal was to give Philip as many tools as he possibly could get away with to grow the business. Now, what Lee didn't do, and here's where we gave back, so to speak. Here's where we didn't push hard enough. And again, Lee didn't do it because that was not my goal, that was not his goal. We didn't ask for money. Like, we didn't ask for a payoff. And that's the whole thing, is that we got this business we're going to run, and from Lee's perspective, we are building the business up.
Well,
we just have these things, these opportunities. We don't want, well, Lee doesn't want.
One thing that is going to change, though, is when you guys actually finally do the cash drop, and we use this group worksheet here, and I start putting the coins on it that have, actual cash value. This represents the cash take you got from the sale of the wine, or the rot gut, I think is what you actually have, before a big chunk of that was going to be taken to go towards the loan. Now, assuming you don't have anyone that you would do enough, and I'm not going to engineer that,
Right.
but assuming not all things equal, that now goes 100% into your bank
And as long as we-
to upgrade the ship or buy new
And
ships.
as long as we sell
or-
it at the right port, it is 100% in the bank. There's no taxes. There's no loan payoff.
So here's the thing, though. Lee is in on House Color now, right? Because out of character, I know a little bit about Lee's deal, and with the in character, I don't know, right, about what transporting whatever it is that you're transporting, and yada yada yada. But now you are a safe bet for transporting whatever it is you're transporting into specific ports or any place that's controlled by House Color, right? So that was beautifully orchestrated self-interest. Yeah, it was really, really well
Out
done.
of character, I caught that. In character, I know nothing about it.
Never inspect my ship.
Yeah. No. It was perfect, because if she had, and the thing is that in character, I was cheering for that also, because if for whatever reason that did not work out with the purchase of the contract, basically buying out the contract. If it got to the point where we had to smuggle, I would be much more comfortable smuggling. You know?
And like I said, I wanted to give Philip tools. And we need to make sure we mark down exactly what we have so we know in the future. So when we do the business stuff, Philip has the tools he needs to make the decisions.
And the reason I specifically asked about the vineyard, the ability to do what we wanted to do, I knew she didn't care what happened with the vineyard.
Absolutely.
But
we
she cares
needed
about power. We needed that in writing.
We needed it in writing so that she couldn't hold that over us. Well, I mean, she can. She could come in and she could just have guys point guns at us and say, well, you do this now, and we'd have to. But where's the profit in that? I mean, what we proposed, she could actually skim some profit if we make it work.
Well, and she wins. She wins as well because
She's crazy.
Let's say all of this works. All of this doesn't work. What does she lose? Versus what if it all pans out? What a fucking hero she is to House Color, and what a wizard she is to the other houses for what she did to Holloway, and how she not only turned Herman around, but she proved that, you know, she, among all the other people who rule houses, is the only house to successfully diversify.
Yeah. And then maybe she could use that as an argument to say, well, maybe House Holloway isn't the best to run distilling.
Yeah,
Right.
That's what I was thinking.
But that's not
If
really
Herman
on
becomes
our
number-
character's mind.
No,
Right.
But if Herman becomes the number one wine, she has the argument of,
Yeah.
we do it better.
Well, and even if she doesn't want it, you think these are the only two sharks in the water?
Definitely not.
So a third, fourth, fifth house could come in, and they could now smell blood in the water, and whichever house loses this, they start going after. So House Color or House Holloway ends up on the block. And now they may survive it, but nonetheless, those sharks are going to at least take a run.
Well, and that's why Lee was saying that, you know, well, what decision should we? Like, we don't understand all the different moving pieces.
Right. Well, and the thing
And we
is,
never will.
Yeah. And Joe's like, look, on the river, you just got to make a decision. At some point, you either have to pick right or you have to pick left, and you have to live with the consequence of your choice, right? You make it through or you run aground, but you just fucking live with the choice that you made. So that's why he was just like, I'm just going to pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why he's captain.
And I love the dichotomy of there's always a right choice,
Right.
versus my character doesn't believe that.
Yeah.
There's not always a right choice.
Which
there is.
actually breaks my heart. It actually makes Joe sad. Like if I had any idea about who Motomar really was, I don't think I'd want him on my boat.
That's true.
Yeah.
Right, he's a
Lee
kid from
doesn't-
the Jungle Book. He's hilarious.
That's right.
Yeah.
Lee doesn't have a problem with motor.
You know,
he understands
He's
what
got
he
a
is.
singing bear.
Yeah. I don't know. But anyway, gents, I really do need to
No,
get
that's
going.
fine.
Yeah.
Y'all go ahead and split.
I can see by the end of the campaign, every character trying to shield Joe from the truth of the world.
Well, the thing is, though, is that at some point you just got to let Joe accept
Yeah.
the truth.
Yeah.
Right.
Lee is not like that. Lee is actually gets shocked every time. Every time Joe said, "Well, isn't there a good house?" and Lee just stops and turns
No,
around
I didn't
like,
say good. I said better choice.
better. Yeah.